Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
The guy looks like a defensive end now. It's
That's
ridiculous.
funny. I saw the video. I saw a video.
25 pounds of muscle. I wonder how he did that.
Is that skinless chicken?
Oh, yes. But I can have, what was the scout's name? That
Tucker Addington?
Tucker Addington, receiver at the Senior Bowl.
Tucker what?
That's a long snapper, isn't he?
Yeah, you named the long snap.
Right?
What's up? I listen to you guys talk about cinema verite and the art of narration and whatnot. I'm just like, man, so happy Eric's not here.
Would we have a conversation?
Can you imagine if Eric just heard me sound like a moron about
he would
talking
be
about
so-
cinema verite? I think Evan just needs to go to the scouting
Keeps
department.
on trying to get rid of me. Like,
I just think you're missing your calling.
This guy knows what he's talking
You're
about.
young enough. See, I'm too old. You're young enough to reinvent yourself.
I could see you on the road in Kennesaw, Georgia, Paul.
Paul?
Yeah.
Breaking down offensive line.
Yeah.
find the
Kidding
guard
me?
prospects.
Yeah. And when you're done downloading porn to your laptop.
That is what you have to do to be a member of the scouting department. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
There's like a 5-year runway that you have to have when you want to make a wholesale uniform change.
Wholesale?
Wholesale. You're more effective being a voice if you agree with it. I don't really give a damn about the uniform.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, the day after Memorial Day. I hope everyone had a good weekend.
It was nice.
For the most part, the weather was okay. It
Monday.
started a little rocky, but it got better.
Oh, Monday was beautiful.
Yeah, Monday was beautiful. What'd you do? Anything good?
I just got
Any
a bunch
golf?
of stuff done. I golfed on Sunday.
Yeah.
The weather
Yeah.
was not great on
I went to
Sunday.
the Titanic exhibit in Boston. Just
Titanic exhibit.
very
some
you.
actual
Very you thing to do.
real artifacts that they recovered from the bottom
I
of the
golfed
ocean.
and
Anything sink in?
Looks
Not yet.
an
It's still
exhibit.
sinking
do they
in.
still have
Fred,
the
yeah.
part, like the ship part, like the original?
Yeah, they got like pieces of it. You could touch
Yeah.
the Titanic. You put
Yeah.
your finger in a hole and you kind of touch the Titanic a little. That's a
Hey,
good
now.
one.
Did you go on the bow and do this?
I did.
Yeah.
Figure
No,
in the
there,
hole, touched it?
there was some cool stuff though, because you when you walk in, they kind of recreate the hallways and what it kind of felt to be in there, and showed some of the rooms and stuff. So I don't know, I've always had a little soft spot for the Titanic, even before the movie, of course, which touched us all. But I love that book, Night to Remember, when I was a kid. So, that was
into
my
history,
that was my
man.
thing. It
Wait,
was
so
very good.
you always had a soft spot for the Titanic
I like just
prior to the movie being released?
Yeah.
You just had this thing like
Well, I had
that.
the
you know,
book
this,
Of like
this
1,000 people
ships.
dying.
A Night to
Right.
Remember.
I mean, like it's just an
Disaster.
Well, it's kind of
an
a big
odd
deal.
thing.
I mean, the Titanic. It's
Oh
not
no, I'm
that
not
rare.
saying you weren't aware of it. I'm saying you had a soft spot for
No,
a tragedy.
You know what it was?
Interested.
You know what it was, Paul? I can expand upon this.
Okay.
Dr. Robert Ballard discovered the Titanic when I was like
And
10.
he was your uncle.
No, yeah, close friend. But he was based on the Cape, though. But I remember that being a big deal. We got National Geographic at my house when they discovered the actual ship. They hadn't even found it. I think people lose track of that. Like in the mid '80s, they had no idea where it actually was.
Why was Nat Geo at your house?
Oh, we subscribed to the magazine because we.
Oh,
magazine
God. Okay.
sign.
I
The
thought
people
that maybe,
didn't come to
Not
the
the
Yeah, I
camera
thought
crew,
maybe
right.
this was like
I
your
know,
They want to talk
connection
into
some
my
way.
touching the Titanic and where was I?
Got it.
But it was
Magazines,
cool,
huh?
cool exhibit. I think it ends tomorrow. So sorry, I'd tell you to go check it out, but it's probably already gone.
Oh, okay.
A lot of artifacts and stuff they brought up, and recreations and what have you.
What was
So
that, the Museum of Science? Or
no,
what
was it this castle that's kind of in the back bay? It's a dedicated space that you
Oh,
you kind of
by
weave
the
your
Park
way
Plaza?
through it. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that place
the
right
castle.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that castle. I'm not sure what the name.
I know where it is.
But that was that was it. And I watched some lacrosse too here at Gillette Stadium.
yeah, I went
throughout
here
the
on
week.
Did you come
Saturday.
over here?
Yeah.
You watch the game
I didn't come over, but I watched them on the television.
on the television.
On the
set?
television.
You know.
Did you have a soft
took him
spot
in
for the
there.
TV?
Yeah, a little bit. I was rooting for BC a little bit, but they didn't.
They
make
kind of
it.
choked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back and forth. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
but
they lost
all
their
those
streak
teams have
of
such
finals
studs.
appearances.
I mean, every team that played here this weekend, I feel like had.
Oh.
I mean, what they had a kid who was, the Cornell kid was about to break the goals record, right?
C.J.
He was
Kirst,
like-
yeah.
He did.
Yeah, he
No,
did.
he did end up doing
He
it.
tied, I think,
He
the
tied
single
it.
season record, but he is the all-time NCAA
Yeah.
leader in
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
And then the
He
girls
won.
had it too. Yeah.
Oh, it's not all
I
divisions?
don't think it's all divisions.
Oh,
Yeah.
they mischaracterized
Yeah.
that then.
But no, it's
pretty-
good games. It was exciting. Saw Tufts won too. So
Yeah.
it's good.
The
Tufts won?
The talent level is
Oh,
gets better and better.
and
Like,
and the
it's insane.
size of these guys now.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
But their
how
their
big they
stick
are.
handling and their ability to use both hands and like everything, like it's
incredible.
night and day compared to every like 5 years. You feel like there's a bigger jump in.
Yeah,
The skills are amazing. I mean, when you go from watching high school games and bad high school games at that, and then you just watch the skill level is amazing.
Yeah.
Every single ground ball is scooped by the first guy that gets there.
Yep.
Like it just boom. It's
the
in their stick.
goalies are good. It's
Goalies
just-
are incredible.
It really is, and the PLL is okay, but the college game is so much better than the pro.
It's a great product.
Yeah.
It really is.
I saw one goal that was just like, I mean, the way the angles that
Oh,
they shoot
Penn State.
from, you
did
have
see
no
that
idea.
guy's
Yeah,
goal?
was that what it was?
Oh,
It was just like
he went behind his
Yeah.
back, far corner,
Yeah, yeah.
upper far corner.
It was
Unbelievable.
Awesome. It was awesome.
Anyway, so that's
Upper
lacrosse.
90.
But we're here to talk football.
Yeah.
It's Deuce, it's Evan, it's Paul, it's me, it's Alex in the booth. Yeah, sporting his Revs hoodie because the Revs had their podcast using the studio before us, the Far Post podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Revs fan, I would highly recommend it. So, just giving a little plug to our sister team. Okay, so football. What do we got? Anything good? What's going on?
Honestly,
got
we
an
don't have a
OTA
lot right now.
We got an
but
OTA tomorrow.
We do have another
Yeah.
access day tomorrow. Yes.
We'll be out there tomorrow reporting, and so are we going to move the show to 2 tomorrow?
No, we don't
there's
have
no
a show
show anyway.
tomorrow.
Oh,
So we'll
tomorrow's
save-
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
I know, you're all screwed
This is
up.
going to happen all day.
Yeah.
I'm going to think today is Monday. Today is Tuesday. Get it in your head.
I know it's hard. It's hard to jump right back in after the off time. You don't
Yeah.
know. You're not going.
We will have Catch
coming or
22. So
Catch
we'll-
22
Catch
tomorrow
22 will
at
get
2.
delayed.
Yeah, so that
Till 2 o'clock.
So it'll be 2 to 4 tomorrow.
Yep.
So we'll have that for you.
Yeah.
So.
So it's
Yeah.
gone really 3 weeks. I mean, this is it. We'll have an OTA tomorrow. We'll have an OTA on Monday. Then mini camp Monday, Tuesday, probably Wednesday, and then that's it. Break. See you at training camp. So
Yep.
I
kind
have
of
to
hard to
admit the
believe.
schedule
Train's
makes
moving.
no sense.
Train's
Yeah.
moving.
I know that's been a topic in the past about changing up the off-season schedule because it does make very little sense that they have this whole off-season program and then everybody goes away for 5 weeks and then comes back for training camp because you're supposed to be getting in shape and like getting ready for the season and then they send everybody back on vacation. It just I don't know. It would make more sense to start it now and then have it run.
It
all
is
the way
weird.
through.
Do you think that if they do go to the 18-game season, because they've talked about changing the dates for training camp and all that stuff, do you think that they'll just make it one continuous thing and have a longer training camp, or
don't know.
what do you think they'll do?
That's a good question. I mean, you have the draft, of course, and then you got to get the rookies in and kind of teach them a little bit. So you would think that some part of May needs to be dedicated to getting the whole team together a little bit. But after that, I mean, to Evan's point, do you take June off and then have a slow ramp-up period in July where it's not training camp yet, but you're here a few days a week and your vacations then become June maybe instead.
Right.
But I don't know what the players would agree to. That's probably the
Well,
bottom line.
a lot of this is actually in the past, and it hasn't really been brought up a lot this offseason. This was a last offseason thing, but the players seem to be the ones pushing to do it the way I'm talking about, to eliminate this part of the offseason program schedule and the gap in between the offseason program and training camp and to go to one continuous. And they use other sports as an example. Like you don't report to spring training in baseball and then leave and then come back for the season. You report and then you play all the way through. So I think the players want to have a continuous start and stop instead of having it be the setup that it
And
is.
you really
now.
wouldn't
My
have
guess
to do
is the
too-
players would like to get rid of all of this stuff.
Correct.
Like, because that's not really apples to apples. Yes, baseball teams report for spring training and then they start the season. The football team reports for training camp and then start the season. This is something in addition to training camp
Right.
that the other sports don't really do.
I would say it'd be like what Deuce was saying, where there's like a 3-week ramp up period in July, maybe like right after the 4th into training camp, and then that would be like what this is basically, where you're not in pads and it's light work and you're just trying to get back in the swing of things and get back in shape, and then you would start training camp maybe after a couple weeks.
Wouldn't this be miserable for us though? Like it'd be totally miserable that then instead of like, oh, you get June off, but now in July you have to go watch these light practices that nothing's really actually happening at. So like now your July gets
As long as it
blown
stays
out
the
too,
same
right?
and it's optional
Well,
for the players and it's just like one day that
Let's move down to the
We're here
college.
anyway.
Why do the colleges do spring practices and spring football?
Well, I think it's more
Is
about
football-
mental. Like,
well,
isn't
well,
this
just
the
gonna
mental
s-
part of the game?
Is
in the
football
spring?
that much more complicated when it comes to playbooks and everything, where you need that period to just get everyone acclimated, get them their playbook, and then you send them away? Is that required? You know,
See, in college, they do that for other sports too, though. Like in the off season,
Yes.
like you have fall baseball.
that's true.
You know,
They have fall ball.
and I always thought it was just because of the academic calendar. It was an opportunity to sort of start while they're still in school, spring practices and stuff like that, as opposed to having the entire summer when they're not in school be
Right.
taken up with training camp. I know
Yeah.
that they start training camp before they come back to school.
Yeah.
Not that that's a huge
But
know,
it's but it's not
priority in
as-
the SEC.
It's not as long as
No.
an NFL training camp, but in with spring football, they're in pads. Like that's full contact. Like that's full tilt in college. Like this obviously wouldn't be that. This would be OTAs, but abbreviated and ahead of training camp, so that there's no breaks.
So how would we feel if, like,
I don't know what the best
if,
way to do
yeah,
it.
how would we feel if things started in mid-June and rolled into training camp in mid-July?
I think it would be terrible for us, but it's not. Obviously, it's not about us. Nobody
Yeah.
feels bad for us.
Well,
but
the question for me is the product better? Can we get back a little bit of the physicality in camp? Because it sounds like every time you hear
Well,
from
that's
modern NFL coaches that they've lost the
That's less
the
a
ability to
scheduling
be-
thing and more of a
Right.
you know,
They
yeah.
can do whatever they want.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I
That's
mean,
a
I think
different-
that's
that's a
where I'm at.
different story.
You know,
Yeah.
within the allotted time that they're in pads.
Yeah.
Like you can't just invent days that you can be in pads. There are rules. But while you're in pads, you can hit.
Yeah.
You know,
Just like
I
to
think
get
most
back to
teams
that.
choose not to.
Yeah.
Mike would just like to get back to barbarian. You know, just
Well,
let's just
yeah.
hit each other.
Speaking of barbarian, the Eastern playoffs in the NBA is ridiculous.
Fred, this is Fred's random
Yeah.
thought of the
Oh,
day.
came in this
no,
morning,
they're just letting. Like I understand, let them play, let them play. They're letting too much go. It's
Yeah.
it's
I don't know.
ridiculous.
I think Jalen Brunson disagrees. He sat out like pretty much the whole fourth quarter of the last game because of fouls.
Well,
They won.
because he can't play defense. That's his problem.
Well,
But
I'm just saying they're calling fouls. You're saying they're not calling any.
because he's so obvious with his pen, you know. But anyway, that's just another topic.
Just in the side.
Quick
All
aside.
right. You know what? The topic. Speaking of topics, the topic that got the most run after last Thursday's show was this Runout music. Everyone has an opinion on what if they ever change, what the Patriots should have for Runout music. And the problem is, they send me these songs. Hey, it's Dweeble with this
love
song, and
Dweeble.
I don't know what it is, so I don't know if it's good or not. It could be the greatest Runout song ever. I just don't have the time to look up all these songs.
It's really hard to sell people on it. Maybe that's why we keep going back to the same songs, because when you say something like Enter Sandman, everyone collectively knows kind of what that is and can be like, that's a good song. But when you try to do something new and you throw a new song out, maybe one person has heard of it, but more likely no one's heard of it. And then you're instantly like, nah, what do I,
Well, we were talking before the show of the Chicago Bulls.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
song was discovered by their PA announcer at a movie.
In a movie theater, heard it come on, and then a couple years later put it together as their intro. But
And I'm sure at that time no one knew what that song was, right? Yeah.
Alan Parsons Project, right?
But
I still didn't know what it was.
all the suggestions though are just like heavy metal stuff, and it's like, well, that's what Crazy Train is.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. It's just, if you're gonna change it, then it needs to be something at least a little bit different.
Spanned out
You think
ballet.
so?
Well,
A different genre?
not necessarily,
Classical,
not necessarily different genre, but maybe just a different era of that music. Like,
That was the heyday of metal, right?
well, I'm all for keeping it as the heyday. I'm just saying, like, I think that if you're just gonna change it to something that just sounds like Crazy Train, it's like, well, it's already Crazy Train, so what's the point?
Let's just take Enter the Sandman. That doesn't sound like Crazy Train, right?
No, but
Evan's not qualified to talk about that.
but it's also not our song. Like,
No,
there's
just saying,
other
like,
teams that
I'm
have
just saying
used
there's
it
other
already.
heavy metal songs you could have. They
I
don't all
know,
sound,
but I don't know. It just kind of seems like it's redundant. Like, at that point, you're just changing it just to change it.
Right.
Like,
Okay, all right.
If you want to change it to something that's different genre, or like that's current, so that it's more of a current song, then I can understand that. But we're not changing it just to change it.
It seems
We're not doing Kendrick Lamar. I know you had a spiritualist right?
No, Kendrick Lamar is an LA guy. I don't want to do Kendrick.
It's really hard. I can't
Donna
imagine
Summer.
you can
Hot
produce a
stuff.
new one. You could write. We're gonna write a hype song, or we're gonna get a composer, like a movie composer, to do a whole thing. It's hard.
Get John Williams to do it.
John Williams. Yeah. Who else?
Who's that other guy?
Bill Conti.
Hans Zimmer.
Bill Conti.
Hans Zimmer.
Hans
did,
Zimmer. That's a good one. Hans Zimmer's a good one.
Yeah.
He did Titanic. Speaking of, right?
See, like, if you were serious
and he
about
did
it,
the Batman series.
He did Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
See, it's like he could definitely do it. It'd just be a hard sell to say we're going to come out to something and then have them pitch ideas. And
I don't know. I think the fans would welcome a change.
Yeah.
I think they're ready for a change, but it's who knows what's good. It's so subjective.
Yeah. Well, I know Vrabel's mentioned he loves AC/DC. I mean, I still love For Those About to Rock. I think that's a great one. That's kind of here, right? Now.
Yeah, they do that. Like it's not the.
Some of the other ones do it too.
I don't think it's an entrance song for the Patriots, but is it like the
kind of like a preamble to the?
Yeah, they definitely
entrance?
play that at some point in the lead up.
Yeah,
to the
whatever
kickoff.
it is, it's got from the opening note. It's got to grab you.
Yeah.
You know.
That's like Enter Sandman. You know, that's why those songs are so popular.
The Sandman.
The Sandman.
He looks at me like you jerk.
I know. I feel like I should be better qualified to talk about this. I've told you guys in the past. Everyone used
You
to
have
make
worked on your
fun of
music a
me
lot.
in college because I would go the long way to the rink. Like you could drive right up to the Holy Cross rink at the top of the hill, or you could take the long way. And I went the long way because I needed a couple songs to get amped up. You know. So I wish
Now
I
you
had
don't
more
know.
to offer.
You don't know what amped you up.
I know.
Hockey
I know.
songs are different. It's like Black Betty. And,
Yeah,
like,
you
it's
can't
like-
use the Hey song anymore either. Gary Glitter, he's
Bad
we
guy.
canceled
Yeah.
him.
No, I thought that ran out. I thought like
No, he's still a bad guy.
no, it's still a bad
sure.
guy. But before, whenever you played that song, he would get royalty.
Oh, really?
But I think that's run out.
Oh, okay.
So
All
he
right.
doesn't get royalty anymore.
Oh, so now we can play it, and we just and he's not getting the money anymore. But,
Yeah.
So it's okay.
As
Yeah,
long as he's
why
getting
not?
Yeah, I mean,
It
I've
is-
always been separated.
Evan's right though. The hockey.
the
Like,
art from
hello
the
out
artist
there.
anyway.
We're on the air. It's hockey night tonight.
Yeah,
that
I
little
don't know.
song. thing
Hockey
they
has
do.
its own genre.
Black
of
Betty.
music. Black Betty's a big Bruins one. They do that in warm-ups.
Motley Crue, "Kickstart My Heart."
Oh,
Yeah,
wow, that's a
what I heard.
classic.
That's
a
Andrew in
classic.
LA.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
But and then you have to decide what are we doing around it? Like what's the presentation?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the music. It's how are we presenting it? Would you guys be in favor of the team being introduced as individuals? Go back to that.
What?
Yeah.
See, I'm against it.
I'm for it.
You're for it.
Because we go to all the road games, and I think it's a moment. Like, it's cool. Now, granted, you need to have the star power in the players to have it be a moment, but when we always talk about this off the air, the Minnesota game and on Thanksgiving night, and their pregame presentation in Minnesota is fantastic just in general, but they had just come off of beating Buffalo, and Justin Jefferson just had that crazy game. And when they introduced Justin Jefferson as the last player on the field, and like it was like that was a moment. Like the place was just going bananas. Like they were over the top. Now you need to have a player of that caliber that leads to that, but I mean it's possible. Like
I don't know. It just seems to me like now that we've had that tradition for over 20 years, if you go back, you're settling.
Right.
You're compromising. So Paul doesn't care.
No, it's not something that I've ever really thought much about. I like Evan's suggestion, his reasoning. If you want to keep it for tradition, I'm a tradition guy too. You know me, I don't really love change. I don't embrace change a lot. Been at the same job for 26 years,
Yeah.
So I see Fred's side too. I'd never really given it much thought.
I just think
the whole
whether
pregame thing,
whether we like it or not, like that moment and the content moment.
Well,
and
right
all
now
that,
it would be Drake May, right?
Right, like all of that that's kind of the vibe right now. Is let's obviously for good reason. Like let's prop up these guys, and it gets the place juiced up. That your star player.
and the weeks you do the
is coming
defense,
out
it's
and-
Gonzalez.
Right.
It's the last guy.
Right.
Or somebody that made the big play last week. They do that in every other stadium, though. Every other stadium.
Like 99%. I mean, I don't know if it's every stadium, but every stadium we've been to the last couple of years did.
Yeah.
They
I don't
do
know.
it.
I like that tradition.
Yeah.
And I like the message that it sends. It's football. It's a team sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
I
get
don't
with
know.
that.
I don't know. The other thing
that what it
that we
says?
had a lot of people writing in defense of Evan in his thing about the bands. That
Oh,
they're
and
on a-
I was actually expecting it to go the other way.
Actually,
No, I
people
think
have
he's
actually
right.
done research, and the numbers support what you're saying.
Wow.
Wow.
That was anecdotal. No
Yeah.
research
So
done.
there's actually
the best
analytics.
kind.
Yeah, right.
Not to be
Right.
not surprising, but there's analytics behind the take.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some good conversations about this with some people on the interwebs, because some people were doing the opposite of what Fred is saying, were coming at me about it. A couple of suggestions from my era. Blink-182 was one that I agreed with. Blink-182, Green Day, Foo Fighters, like those bands are. I'm 32. Those bands are getting up there. That was 20 years ago now that American Idiot came out. Like that was a long time ago. We need some modern stuff. We need some new stuff.
One guy, he was writing about the economics. He says a single vocal artist and a laptop are dramatically cheaper than a multi-person band. Compensation scales much easier for one person than 4 or 5. Recording costs for a single voice track scales dramatically easier than full recording for a multi-instrument band, where, for example, you might need 5 to 9 very expensive microphones to capture one drum kit, and then it's extremely cheap to post-edit, blah, 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 blah. So economically, they're doing it this way because you make more money.
Right. So maybe like 30 years ago, Taylor Swift is a front person for a band, but now they just say, forget the band, we're just going to have her do it solo.
Yeah.
So is the reasoning, and forgive me for being a little ignorant, Mike, this might be a question for
Well,
you.
I am serious about music. so.
You are Mr. Entertainment.
He's gotten very good with his music.
It's all because of COVID.
But would you not need like studio musicians, even for Taylor Swift? Or is
You
it
can do it all
something you can just do it
computers.
all electronically? So if you have
Yeah.
a band, they would not allow their music to be played artificially.
Right.
But if it's just like...
Yeah.
Is
I
that,
guess.
is it as simple as that?
Yeah, the computers can do it all now. I mean, I started when I was in school, like Logic, Reason, like those softwares that you can literally make beats with just clicks of the mouse.
You can get serious about your music without anyone else, just you.
Yeah, it seems to defeat the purpose.
Yeah, it's
You want to play with other people. It's the joy of music,
and,
playing with others.
again, everything that it's all about, like the 70s and 80s. Like that's the only thing I know. Like all the documentaries that you watch, like there's a great Thriller documentary from Michael Jackson, but like they had tons of guys interviewed in that documentary that played different stuff. They're studio musicians, even though it's Michael Jackson by himself. He's a solo artist, but
what about the Yacht Rock?
The Yacht Rock with Steely Dan and all that stuff.
Yeah, those guys, all the same
Toto
guys.
was in everything.
Everybody, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Toto played everything.
I do think the advantage of it though is that you can anybody can make music, right? You don't need to be signed by like a record label or something like that to have the bandwidth to be, and the budget to be
That's
able
the
to
hope,
do something
Evan. That's
like
the
that.
hope. That's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. It's
Someone
dreams.
just comes knocking at the door.
Jacob in Nashville is melding Patriots Hall of Fame talk with music. He says, enough Patriots Hall of Fame hate. Everyone should be grateful that the Patriots Hall of Fame is run the way it is, even with Vinatieri having to wait. Take a step into my field, the music business, in the nonsense that's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Quick game. Of these 4 artists, who is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Jethro Tull, Iron Maiden, Motorhead, and Ted Nugent.
Oh boy.
Who's not?
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent.
The answer is none of them are in.
None of them are in.
But Run DMC, Dolly Parton, Madonna, Biggie Smalls, ABBA, and Louis Armstrong are.
I would agree with that.
Well, if it's supposed to be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Louis Armstrong
I
should
see.
not be in the Rock and Roll
I
Hall.
see what the
If it's a music Hall
I'm
of
just
Fame,
thinking
that's
of it more
different.
as a music Hall
Right.
of Fame.
Right.
I mean, Biggie Smalls should. If there
No,
was.
Well, that's his point.
Totally get his point. Yep,
Yeah.
he's right.
That's his
If you're
point.
going rock and roll
Small
strictly, those guys are all
Not
rock acts, and the ones that are all in are not.
Yeah.
That's my music.
There you go. You know Biggie.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's probably the last time I really listened to that stuff.
Jeff in Canada, I'd like to call out the guy who wrote in from Atlanta saying that the Patriots fans who are not also fans of the Celtics, Bruins, and Red Sox are fake Patriots fans, his exact words. That's another one that got a lot of play. That's ridiculous. I'm as much a fan as he is. I've been a fan since 1991 when they were a dumpster fire of a franchise. If this show teaches us anything, it's that the fans live all over the world, as less than half of the calls and emails come from Greater Boston. It's those out-of-market fans who fill the bank of craft sports media and keep shows like this going. Get over it that we don't like your Celtics or Bruins. I agree with that. I think nowadays people...
You can be a fan whatever team you want.
All over. It's easier to follow your team now than it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. The weird part is, I mean, I grew up around here, and I don't remember really a lot of Patriot fans. You look at my yearbook, and it's all kids in, like, other team stuff. Like, I had a best friend who loved the 49ers, like, which is strange. You'd think now people would be more apt to follow teams that they can watch, but I guess the bandwagon always runs strong. Even
Well,
going back to the 80s.
that's why it was hard to follow teams when Fred was growing up, because he couldn't keep track of which one he was rooting for at a given time. He had to wait till the standings came out.
You want a rim shot? You want a rim shot for
He
that
had to
too?
wait to see who was in first place at the time.
No, I had to wait for the weekly baseball show with Ted Kubiak. Who was that guy?
Tony Kubek.
Yeah, Tony Kubek.
Ted Kubiak.
He's a
Kubiak now.
Gary Kubiak?
Who's
Clint
Ted
Kubiak? Well, Gary Kubiak, Clint Kubiak.
Oh, Gary Kubiak.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
White
any.
zone.
I don't know if there's any Ted.
I feel like living out of the state of Massachusetts, like to that email, like you be a Patriots fan if you want to be a Patriots fan, but I just met so many people that were fans of teams that they like had zero connection to, but to Paul's point, were kind of just bandwagoning like the Cowboys or the Lakers or the Yankees or like something like that, and I don't know, like those people are not for me.
David in Maryland, a lot of Forge and Foxborough talk still. After hearing way more than 72 minutes discussion of a 72-minute video I hadn't seen yet, I was feeling a bit curmudgeon-y, like being around a bunch of people talking about a movie I haven't seen. But since Fred is my favorite media mogul, I put it on as soon as I got home. Wow! Exclamation point. In 50 years as a Patriots fan, I have never seen as much insight into the sausage being made. Sure, it could have used a bit of polish here and there and maybe a few captions, but I agree that leaving in extra footage rather than cutting it down was a good move. 2 questions. Quick one. Why the 2 spellings for Foxborough or Foxborough, O-U-G-H? Do we need to find Eric to ask him? Well,
we talked about that.
Yeah, technically it's O-U-G-H. You know, that's how the town was incorporated. You know,
It's on the police cars.
yeah, it's on the welcome to.
Yeah.
I think the only place it originally was used ORO was when we built the old stadium.
The stadium, Foxborough Stadium, was ORO.
Yeah, and I don't know why they did that.
I don't either.
It's funny.
You know? So,
Forget the ending.
What about the UGH?
yeah.
There wasn't enough room on the
Right, it's
on
probably
the
something
side of the
stupid like
building.
that.
Next in the
Couldn't
draft
afford it.
room, right before they pick Henderson, there's a bunch of discussion about trading the pick. I could swear they decided to trade, but Elliott goes with the pick. I rewound it a couple of times, but could not figure out the exchange. Can one of you explain that? It did sound to me the first time like Elliott overrode it too.
Yeah.
Like he said, no, we're going to pick.
Yeah. Yeah, I had trouble. I know a lot of people were trying to figure out who they were talking
Yeah.
to and what the moves were.
It was Houston.
Yeah.
And they some of the Houston writers have actually come out and with their side of it, they've did some digging after watching Forge from Foxborough. So the Texans were trying to come up for Ariante Ursary, and they ended up they wanted to come up 20 picks originally to go from the 50s to the 30s with the Patriots to take Ursary. They ended up trading up 10 spots instead because the trade didn't go through, and they got Ursary. They still got him. So that's reportedly.
Yeah.
That's from the Texans side. The trade was for Ursary.
That's kind of the position the Patriots might have been in had they not drafted Will Campbell, right? Like
Yep.
just desperately trying to get one of those last potential left tackles there in the top of the second.
Dave says Mr. Kraft should ask John Williams to compose a short score.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. His style, doesn't lend to getting crazy.
Yeah.
You know, you got to amp people up. You got to. The other thing I would change is the order of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we're not the only ones, but most stadiums they have this run out and everyone gets psyched, and then they have the anthem, and then you lose all that momentum. They should do the anthem, then they should do the run out, and go right into the game so that everyone is still
Carry over the excitement. Mhm.
Yeah.
But then the players aren't on the field for the
So
anthem.
what? They weren't. They used to not always be on the field.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I didn't know that.
So what?
There we go. Well, that's a good point. I didn't know that.
Fred wants to fight Evan over the anthem now.
Yeah,
what are you going to do about it?
and some people might frown upon them not being out there.
And then David also says,
So what?
got a problem with that?
I do, actually.
I mean, some people might.
Which UDFA will make the 53-man roster? I mean, who knows?
Land Larison.
Smith.
Yeah.
That no.
No?
not-
Jones.
Come on.
And then
Come on.
And then he asked, why
Take it
doesn't the
seriously.
NFL increase the roster size?
Oh, well, why? Why should you?
I mean, they kind of have with the
Practice squad's
practice squad.
16 now.
Yeah.
Practice squad's beefy. I mean,
how many guys do you have to? It's
In general, there's still. I mean, I know that everybody gets into the game per se, special teams, but there's a handful of guys every week that really don't play, as it is now with a 46-man, game day roster.
yeah. I'd be in favor of having all 53 guys active on game day. I never really understood why they don't
So
have that.
I can give you an explanation for that.
Okay.
This is from Bill Belichick, so maybe this
Oh.
isn't in question now based on some
Yeah.
of his decision making, in the recent past.
what are you talking about?
The 53-man with the inactives was sort of instituted to allow teams to not have to make roster moves when guys were unavailable.
Got
So
it.
rather than put a guy who might have a hamstring and have to miss a game on IR and then you lose him, you have him as one of the game day inactives. And this way, you might play a game and you might have 2 or 3 guys that are hurt, but the other team you play might have 5 or 6 guys that are hurt. There's an inequity there.
Uh-huh.
They didn't want one team having 53 guys available and another team only having 48 guys available.
Interesting.
So
I see.
in general, if everybody has 7 inactives or 6 inactives, depending on the quarterback situation and all that, it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
For the
Right,
most
but
part.
now with the practice squad elevations, you could probably
There's probably ways around it.
right. Like if
Now,
if you have a guy on your 53 who's not going to be able to play because of injury, then you can call a guy up from the practice squad and he takes the play.
Right.
And why the number 53? It seems random. Like, why not 55 or 60? Why
Yeah.
53?
It's a good question too.
Yeah,
Why
I never
46?
I never got that from Bill.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
52 for a while, right? Didn't they just bump it to
53 has been since I've been in the league.
52.
Since I've been in the league.
I misremember.
99, it was 53, I believe.
Yeah,
Well, as long as I can remember anyway. If it wasn't,
it wasn't. Yeah, I misremember. It wasn't.
Okay. Kyle from Pembroke. Since we're officially in the offseason, I thought I'd give you some Patriots Would You Rather. For the 2025 New England Patriots, who would you rather have in their prime? This is for this team.
25 Patriots.
Rob Gronkowski or Randy Moss?
Gronk.
I
It's
would
tough
say
to-
I would say Gronk.
Randy Moss.
It's
It's a tough
It's
one.
really
it
tough.
It's a good-
It's a good would
you
you
can't
rather.
lose with either one.
It's a good would you rather.
I mean, they're both. I just think Hunter Henry is maybe a little bit better than what you have at receiver, so you kind of already have a
Oh, in that
serviceable
context,
tight
yeah, I
end.
see what
so
you're saying.
adding the
Yeah.
outside receiver
I
would
get
be a
it.
little. I mean,
Yep.
they're both great picks, but
Teddy Bruschi or Dante Hightower?
Hightower.
Yeah, probably Hightower. Yeah,
Because we got Bobby Spillane.
we
He's
got Bobby
Bruschi.
Spillane.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I think the
Right.
game's a little different now. I think Hightower could play in anything.
Yeah. Ty Law, Darrell Revis, or Stephon Gilmore?
Tyler.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
Would he, because he was a little physical, would he get called a lot nowadays?
He might. Fair
I
point.
don't think any more now than
No?
then.
Oh, okay.
After that whole Carolina Panthers Colts thing. What was that, like 03?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When they cracked down on everything?
Drew Bledsoe or Drake May right now?
Drew Bledsoe.
Right now.
No, true. Today? Yeah, I think May has a chance to be better than him, but right now?
Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi?
Oh God.
As much as it pains me, I have to say Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Yeah.
Danny Amendola or Jacoby Myers?
Amendola.
Oh.
As long as he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I'd say Myers.
Yeah. Vince Wilfork or Richard Seymour?
Seymour.
Seymour.
Also, if the Runout song is changed, it should be Never Gonna Stop Me or Dragula by Rob Zombie, though I don't think we should change it.
Okay.
So there's one person who
So,
doesn't think
yeah, there's a handful of people that don't want it changed, huh?
Just fine.
I like that. I like that there's some different
From what is
opinion.
it now?
Crazy Train.
Crazy Train.
Oh.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Well, it actually was the Crazy Train remix last year.
I didn't care
Let's
for that.
Go
I didn't care
with
for that.
Crazy Train.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It's like a little modern twist.
Yeah, but it did not, like Crazy Train has kind of that build, and I don't know, that the whole build of the remix of it just felt off to me. Like, it's Fred's thing of wanting to like build up to, that moment.
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
I mean, Ryan is situated.
Yeah.
He's for no. He says, I can't even begin to fathom why anyone would want to change the Runout music. Last week it was mentioned that you have to have a song that gets to the Enter Sandman level. To me, the only way intro music can get to that point is longevity. O Fortuna into Crazy Train is absolutely perfect and sends chills down your spine once the lights go out and that first O Fortuna note hits. Changing it, and I think they did last season, would just reset that cycle. And P.S. Add me to the list of running out as a team. I love the show. Keep it up.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'd go back. I like the what is it?
What is that?
Carmina Burtana.
Yeah.
What is that? Dun, 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 dun. That one? Okay.
The music talent.
I'm not a big
over
fan
there
of that. I do like Crazy Train. I've always liked it. I mean, if it's time to change it,
Yeah.
The first time I was introduced to that song was Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, sure. See, I was always say that I think it's the Anvil of Crom is the theme song of Conan, but I'd be like, I do that one. That's a great one too. A lot of drums and stuff. You want to go classical? Conan?
Sometimes
You
I
didn't
think
do
they're talking
Conan
a
on
different
HBO,
language.
Paul?
You never watched Conan the Barbarian?
No.
Paul doesn't like the action movies, the macho music.
There's a lot. That's really not true. Like I watched Gladiator yesterday.
Gladiator
You ever
1 or,
been to a
1
Turkish
or
prison?
2, because 2 was not good.
Huh?
You ever been to a Turkish prison?
Not that Gladiator.
I hardly knew her.
Yeah, I have a weird gap in my sort of 80s movie thing, and it's Arnold movies.
Oh, really?
I haven't really seen any of them. And it wasn't like anything intentional. It just kind of happened.
Get back to the chopper.
No, that's Predator.
I was not a big Arnold guy either.
I like Kindergarten Cop, Terminator.
Yeah.
No
Great.
Poo Poo Gaga.
Oh, yeah.
Big Sly
It's not a
Stallone
tumor.
guy.
It's not
not
a tumor.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a classic.
Sly Stallone better than Arnold.
So
Fact.
saw most
No
of
way.
those.
Fact.
Oh, no.
Stallone versus...
I'll take Arnold.
I mean,
Stallone's dramatic, though. Stallone's got a dramatic side to him a little bit that you might
Arnold
have
has
to
never made
respect.
anything close to Rocky. So I just...
That's true.
Like that.
Even the first Rambo
That's
was
true.
kind of dramatic.
And
too.
Rambo's fantastic. Yeah.
And then he went full like Schwarzenegger action hero in 2, but really 1 was more
Skinless
of a,
chicken.
Yeah.
more a think piece.
One, I mean, one is
Sure.
like depressing. It's about like post-traumatic stress and
Yeah.
everything. Like it's like
Oh, yeah.
actually like
Good supply
thoughtful.
of body bags.
Murdoch.
Love it. Oh, the speech.
2.
Oh,
That's
fantastic.
2.
You better
Yeah.
get some body
Good.
bags.
All right, 855 PATS 500 is the
Stallone.
hotline.
To love us as much as we love it. Sorry.
It's okay.
You could go into the Rocky 4 if I could change.
It's
right
also
into all the
fantastic.
Stallone.
He's wearing the American flag. He's,
So bad.
views can change.
Yeah. Schwarzenegger never
So
had a
good.
soundtrack like Rocky 4 either. There's no,
Just bangers.
just
like-
top to bottom.
Stallone is
Vince DiCola.
He's great.
Instrumental didn't
Yeah.
matter. It's awesome.
Hearts on Fire. So good.
Rocky
100%.
4. Yeah. Maybe we could get Vince DiCola to put a run out music for us.
So good.
I don't even know what that is.
He did Training Montage. He did War, the instrumental from Rocky 4.
When he lands in Russia on the runway
Yeah.
and they're just
Hearts on Fire.
yeah, just whew,
What?
so good.
He's like,
Paul immediately goes into this.
It's falsetto.
Yeah.
Very good.
I can't sing a lick.
Sorry, Arnold.
First
Arnold
one to
doesn't
admit
have
it.
anything
Arnold
that
doesn't
moves
have
you
that.
like that.
And I love Arnold.
No.
I mean,
No.
but still, Stallone's got a wide range
Like
of work.
Conan, Terminator. Never,
Twins.
Terminator's
Never saw any of
great.
them.
Even the comedy ones.
Some of the later ones, like I saw True Lies.
It's pretty good.
Batman.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
Oh, he was terrible in that.
That's my point. Stallone would never mail it in like that.
Oh, did you see Cobra?
Yeah. I
He
mean,
would never mail it in like
your
that.
only mention is
Crime is the disease and I'm the cure.
So I think
And he
I
lights
think it
in
was
the
Cobra. So there's a story. There's a story that I heard on one of Paul's shows. They were talking about it, and actually it might have been on Stern. So, they were the rivals. It was, those
Right.
they were the two action guys,
Oh,
and
yeah.
for a while, Schwarzenegger was beating him in the box office. He was making more money, and I think it was the Cobra script, and Schwarzenegger hated the script, but he got it out there that he was really, really considering that script, and Sylvester Stallone was like, I gotta beat him. So he found out. So he said, "Give me that script," and he said, "I'll do it," and it just tanked.
Well, it worked out for Stallone. He got to do it with Bridget Nielsen, who he did Rocky IV with. I think they got married after that.
Yeah,
I liked that movie.
Great for him.
I thought the bad
Good
guy in
connection,
Cobra
dude.
was great, and then they did like
See, it comes
there
back
was when
to a good
Satanism
thing.
was a big thing. You know, it was like you got to fight the Satanists, and they all had their axes, and they went cha-ching, cha-ching, and they'd stand in a circle. It was scary. The bad guy in Cobra was legit. He was a freaky looking dude.
I love it.
That guy scares me. He wore like a pantyhose
Not as
on
much
his
as you
face.
scare
and
me.
it was like- yeah, it was
I
freaky.
love how we just made it a good thing for Sylvester Stallone because he rocks. So like again,
It's a good thing for Stallone. He ended
all
up
of
with
a sudden
Bridget
it's a
Nielsen.
great
His
film.
wife.
It's a great
He
film.
got to continue working with his wife. It's personal. Maybe not
Now,
didn't set the
Paul,
box out.
what about women action film? Barbed Wire? Did you see Barbed Wire?
No,
Pamela
What's
Anderson.
Pamela Anderson
She's
and
doing
Roddy
great.
Piper?
didn't see it.
Love what Pamela Anderson's doing now. You see
think-
her? She's like all no makeup now. She goes out. She looks great. She's
I mean,
she looks great. Really?
Personally, I think the best female action movie is Kill Bill.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
I
a good
mean,
one. That's a
see
good
those
one.
either.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, you gotta see
Part
them.
1 and 2.
Both of them are
Yeah.
fantastic.
That was an excellent one.
It is great.
Red Sonja. That was kind of in the Schwarzenegger.
Red Sonja.
What we're talking about.
What
80s.
are you guys John Wick fans?
100%.
You gonna see the new one?
John Wick is like modern Kill Bill to me, right? Like instead of swords, we're fighting with guns now for the most part. But yeah, very
Yeah.
good movie.
But there's one now where what's it called?
well, it's not.
It's a woman. He's in
Yeah.
it, but
Oh,
only
yeah.
as a bit part. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, Like his story, John Wick's story
It's
is
done.
over.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is back in time, and there's a female John Wick.
I love all the John Wicks.
Yeah.
Good.
John Wick guy. I've never John
You
Wick.
don't? You haven't seen it?
I was actually
I've seen
watching
a
John
little
Wick
of them.
3
I
over
didn't
the
see any of
weekend.
them.
Like it's one of those movies I can watch for like 20 minutes and I know what's happening. Like you don't have to watch the whole thing.
Well, the dog dies, right? Like that's
That was in one.
It's tough.
But
Actually, I thought one
That's why I
was
watched it.
the weakest of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I should have jumped in on another one.
Stan in Poughkeepsie. What's up, Stan?
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. So I just wanted to ask, first of all, salute to Alex for wearing his Rhapsody, and I wanted to ask, is the Far Post coming back on the studio as more of like a regular thing? Do you know anything about that, Fred?
What did he say?
the what?
The Far Post. I think
The
he's
Far
talking-
Post podcast?
Yeah, they just recorded one today.
Awesome. And then I also wanted to ask Paul if he knew about the new stadium Mr. Kraft is trying to get in Everett. Would that be lost on him?
Yeah, I think it's the Perillo family that's holding it up. Actually.
No, okay, I can promise you that it's not our fault. It's funny. I was actually with the mayor of Everett last week.
Whoa!
Nice flex.
But I did not. I did not bring up the stadium to him. 'Cause I didn't think it was appropriate.
No.
Like, we're going to get this done or what?
No, like you said, it's not Everett that's the problem.
It's not Everett. It's Boston.
Yeah, thanks, Stan. But we'll see what happens.
It's a tough, like, someone that lives in that area.
Yeah, they're worried about traffic.
It's already
big time.
It's already a corridor. Like it's already, and it's
It is. It's a hard.
it's tough.
hard area to navigate.
What about
Yeah.
this? What about the Celtics? I was reading something that they might consider getting out of.
Yeah, but that's 10 years down the road.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's not for 10 years.
But
yeah.
but that's in the same cat. Like it's a tough spot. I understand the idea, and obviously they have the Encore like there as well, and it would be kind of like an area that they
Sure.
could make up there between the Encore and the stadium. But there's really only one road. The Encore is on a main road, and then that's it. Like there's really no other way to
What
get
about
there.
public transportation? Is there anything
I mean,
close?
the Silver Line, but it's not good.
They would. I think part of the project would be to put something in, and they also have sort of encouraged like the water taxi
Yeah.
from the city,
Like,
obviously, to come
yeah.
over, which would be,
Yeah.
I think viable.
That'd be kinda cool,
if people
too.
did it. But
Yeah. Serve drinks on
The
it.
concept of the stadium is it's a great
Look it
idea.
up.
It'd be a great venue to have. Like it'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
It just the infrastructure just isn't there to support.
yeah, it'd be a challenge.
Okay. How's the Encore doing?
Yanko's doing very well.
Is it? Yeah. I've never been there.
Me neither.
It's a nice spot.
It's it's worth a trip. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you, like the restaurants are expensive?
Everything.
Yeah, it's
everything.
It's
if you want to
Vegas
play,
prices.
you want to play the tables.
What's like
the
a $50 minimum
The
or something
minimums
like
are
that?
higher, especially if you go on like a weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 50 is the least you're going to see.
Ugh.
Yeah,
It's tough.
Yeah.
I was putting minimums up that were a little bit more than I was comfortable putting up.
How'd you end up doing?
Usually just break
Boom,
even,
gone.
get out.
Break even. That's great. You
Usually
get the
break
worst.
even and get out because I get too scared.
Oh, man.
I'm a scared.
Matthew's in Arizona. What's up, Matthew? Matthew calls all the way from Arizona, and then he's not manning his phone.
I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
Hey!
What's up, Matthew?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Doing good. So my question is, do you see any parallels between Chuck Fairbanks and Steve Groban to like Vrabel and May in terms of the dynamic?
Chuck Fairbanks and Grogan, no.
Yeah, not really. And I would hope, I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful here, but I would hope Drake May is a lot better than Steve Grogan. But also, I think Chuck Fairbanks built it all himself. He was the GM. He was the one guy. And I don't think Mike Vrabel is being asked to do that.
At least not yet.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Now, do you bring up Grogan because he was a running quarterback for his time, or like why that analogy?
Well, I guess in terms of the dynamic, with Grogan, the way that he ran more earlier in his career, more specifically the 76 Patriots, I was looking at old tape of him and saw some, I guess, similarities in how he scrambled like May, and Grogan or Fairbanks is more like Cubs Nails kind of guy.
Yeah. No, I hope I don't see a similarity there. I hope May doesn't end up in a neck roll.
Yeah, well, here's where, and I love Steve Grogan, and he used to be around the organization a lot more. He's a little older now. So I really enjoyed getting to know him a little bit. But I would, sort of the dirty secret that people don't really ever want to bring up because he's such a beloved figure is those 70s teams failed to meet expectations largely because they didn't have good enough quarterback play. He threw more interceptions than touchdowns on a consistent basis. He was a good player, and he was as tough as, I know why everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Tougher than a $3 steak, but when it came time to win a game that they had to win, he would throw 6 picks in San Francisco in a game that they had to have against a terrible team. That's what I remember most of that era. Now, he could run. He played in an era where quarterbacks had much more responsibility. He called his own plays at times.
Yeah.
Unbelievable gamer. He could play, but he was so inconsistent. And that's what held those teams back. They were wildly talented teams that never seemed to win anything.
Yep.
That was one of the craziest things, my takeaways from watching the 85 team is that exact thing. When Eason was in to start the season, Grogan was signaling in the plays to him. But then when Grogan went in, he just called his plays. I mean, you're watching the coach just
Grogan
was sitting there watching.
So, Mike, this is interesting that you bring this up. But now, in fairness to Grogan, by the time we get to 85, he's in the league 10 or 12 years.
Yeah.
So he had suffered a lot of injuries at that point. But you went back and watched every game as you're doing prep work for this 1985 retrospective. You're going to do a podcast series again and a feature for the yearbook. And what did you say to me about the offense?
Oh, just run, basic.
Punt
until the
defense, see if they could force a turnover, and then, that was basically what the offense was. They couldn't move the ball, whether it was Eason or Grogan.
It was both. I talked to John Hanna last week, too, and he's just, some of the games, you're like, they're just running into a brick wall for 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, and I asked, Hanna about it, and he said, yeah, you get to the fourth quarter, they didn't want to play anymore. And then that was when and you look at even the stats, it's like all their points are scored in the fourth quarter. Like, they can't do anything for 3 quarters, but when the defense finally gets tired out, then they finally start, opening up some gaps for Collins and for James. And, it's totally different. But in some ways, kind of the same. When I look at the basic, what they had to execute to win games, and those 3 road playoff games that they won, it was, we got all the takeaways, we capitalized on those takeaways, we got an early lead, all the things we talk about with those old Patriots teams the last couple of years, where it has to be exactly the way they need it to win the game. And then they got into that Super Bowl, and they had a little bit of a chance early on, but once it started snowballing on them, they couldn't climb back and go toe to toe with teams offensively. No way.
David Main says, I like music too, but I'll be the one to bring up football. Who do you guys think will be the team captains this year?
That's a good question.
That we're bringing up football.
Yeah,
I hope Drake May's one of them.
I thought it was interesting. I think did Reese brought up Harold Landry? Maybe was that one of his that he? Or am I
Vrabel guy would make sense.
Vrabel guy.
I would think it would be a lot of those types of guys, right? Landry, Spillane, maybe even.
Spillane.
Guys that Morgan Moses, like guys that were brought in by Vrabel.
Moses could be one
to lead the charge here.
And there's no Patriot captains left, right? I mean, Peppers from last year, but that was it.
Technically Duggar, even though he kind of replaced.
Right.
Peppers,
I think.
I thought it was either Peppers or Bentley.
The question is, how will they be selected? Will it truly be a team vote, or will it be Vrabel?
Don't know.
Or a combination thereof.
Yeah. Which I think it usually is. It's usually a combination.
Your thoughts?
They'll have a nomination committee, and then they'll open it to a fan vote.
Right.
Your thoughts on captains?
Useless.
You don't like them.
I mean, not that I don't like them. I think leadership on your team, any sport, but football especially, I think is extremely important. I don't care who the captain is. I just need good leaders.
Okay, but by giving them that title, it gives them a little bit more support.
Yeah, I'm not anti-captain. I'm not like Bill. I can't put a C on the guy's chest because we played football for 50 years without that.
Right.
No, I have no problems recognizing your captains.
Yeah.
I think the captains are kind of useless, and I think that the players would largely agree with that.
But okay,
I think you need a strong locker room.
Because I don't think it's like captains when you're growing up, like in high school football or high school sports. Like that is different to me than these are professional athletes.
But from an organization, from a locker room organization standpoint, it's good to have those people. Like, you need to organize a meeting, you talk to the captain. You need to get something done, you talk to the captain, and then they get it done.
Yeah.
So it's like your go-to person who has been given that title.
There's some truth to that, and like they have the captain's meeting still with the coach, where the coach kind of gets the temperature of things, and that there's value in that. But there's also, in my time on the beat, there's guys that were clearly the leaders of the team that weren't wearing the C for politics or some other reason, most likely. I don't mean literal politics. I mean team inner politics.
Like they didn't go to the OTAs when Bill wanted them to. So
right.
They didn't win the vote that year.
When he was here, just to use a recent example, like Matthew Judon was the Patriots for a period of time, and in 2021, 2022 was his team, and he was never a captain. Like Julian Edelman was never a captain.
Was McGinnis ever a captain, Paul?
I think so, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's not something that resonates with me. Like I couldn't tell you who the captains were.
I feel like I'd write that article at the beginning of the year, and then you kind of forget.
But
I think to the
I'd
point
have
you
to
guys
ask you
talking
who
about, there
Miles
is
Battle was.
Yeah, there is some element of just the functionality of the team. Like the captains have to meet, they have to have leadership committee that plans. Like there's that kind of thing. But like overall, I agree with the guys. Like it doesn't really matter to a pro football team who the guy
that's why
wearing the
I agree
C's
with
are.
what Evan's talking about. Like when you grow up and you're playing sports, like the captains were not necessarily just because they were good leaders. It's like a high school football team, the captain's running captain's practices.
Yeah. Right.
The captain's making sure everybody's where they're supposed to be because he's doing all of that communication work because that's part of high school sports.
Yeah.
That's what captains do.
Right.
When you're growing up. Now, I think it's just important to have a strong locker room. Like, and if you have bad captains, maybe that's part and parcel. So maybe you're right. Maybe the captains have more to do with a strong locker room. But, like, I looked at guys like Devin McCourty and Matthew Slater. Like, those guys were leaders, whether they had a captain or not. Like, they were going to be guys that did things the right way, and guys followed them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like football too, because in hockey you need to have a seat to talk to the ref. Like there's an actual functionality to it.
Right. Like in general, the quarterback is talking to the ref on offense, right? And quarterback's not always a captain.
Basketball, it's not. No. It's not a big deal.
A lot of teams don't even have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then baseball,
same thing.
They don't have captains.
A lot of teams don't. Some do, but
except
a lot of them
Veritek.
don't. He had to see.
The only time so now he said it in a press conference recently, and everybody was kind of like, "Wait, what?" And I guess Jaylen Brown is technically the captain of the Celtics.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
And he like just like kind of in passing mentioned it and was like,
That would make sense.
Yeah, Paul Pierce was they gave him the captaincy because KG came in, and KG was a leader. Like that guy was, and so they called him the captain because he was the longer tenured Celtic, and it was kind of this uncomfortable thing, and so they made him the captain.
I thought he was the truth.
He was the captain and the truth.
Oh,
he was the chucker.
That's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nakoti says, how about a little change to the run out? Before the music stops, you hear Captain America yell, Avengers. Music stops, all the lights go out, and then you hear assemble.
Oh.
No. Absolutely. I think Matt Morrell sent that in, actually. All right, we're going to take a break. More calls
Fred's
and
Foods
emails.
here.
Yep, here on Patriots Unfiltered. Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
With FedEx One Rate, you can ship to your student for a simple, predictable flat rate. Send a box full of home-baked treats that say, "Your father and I miss you." Or send a box full of instant noodles that says, "Your father and I would like you to stop asking us for money." Either way, one rate fits all. FedEx One Rate. 2-day shipping, one flat rate. Starting at $14.50. Visit FedEx.com/OneRate for details. Exclusions apply.
All right, who's first? How are you? Yeah, don't be shy now.
After practice, you see that you're working with Will and some of the younger guys. How much pride do you take in that, and what's your message to them in a day like this?
I think it's the biggest thing. I've been blessed to be under a lot of great tackles. I played with Trent Williams for 5-6 years, and just being able to learn from him and just take it on the field, is vital because, being a vet that's played 12 years and being able to sprinkle those little things to those guys to see them, use them in practice and get better, and just build a toolbox for themselves. It's good for everybody.
Specifically, what do you think about Will so far?
Man, it's the way he approaches the game, man. He's eager to learn. He asks questions. Every day he's like, bro, can we get some sets? And just talking football. His locker's right beside mine, so we get to talk about football all day. And obviously he's a stud, man. He's played great football in college, and so now he's just trying to figure it out where, every week you're going against somebody that has a guy. So, just fine-tuning, not trying to change stuff, but just fine-tuning the things he's learned in college and taking them to the NFL and just on the field and getting challenged every day.
Morgan, we didn't see you doing much in the game. Is that just pacing things out this early on?
Yeah, just pacing things out. Obviously, I feel great, coming back from the knee surgery and stuff like that, but just getting acclimated, getting out there, running around with the guys. But I'm happy to put that helmet on and put that jersey on and get out there and running with the fellas, so it's been good.
Along those lines, how important was it for you to be here for these workouts?
Oh, real important, man. Obviously, we got a young group, we got a young offensive line, and so just being able to get around them, create that brotherhood, that chemistry, and just bring them along is very important.
What kind of things are you doing to, I guess, organically create that brotherhood? There's new faces in through free agency, through the draft. Just a lot of guys
Well, just number one, we got a young room. We got a lot of guys that's trying to figure it out themselves. So just being a voice in that room, bringing them along, whether it's like us going out to dinners, or just staying after practice when everything is done and watching film together and just spit all everybody's ideas. I know Garrett's been phenomenal for the room as a veteran center, as long as Wes as well. I played with Wes before, and so when you bring those knowledgeable players into to one room and we can sit down and just share football and what we see, and just being able to talk about it, right? Because obviously my eyes might be a little bit different than Will's and the younger guys because I've been playing for a long time. So just being able to spit that knowledge to them and help them see what I see to bring them along is vital.
Mike was talking to us before practice about how this is going to be a challenging time of year for the offensive line because there's no contact. You can't do everything that you want to do necessarily this time of year. What's the most important thing for an offensive lineman to get out of the work between them?
We was just talking about it just a couple of minutes ago over there. Offensive line is a unique position because in the offseason, you're training against a bag all day, and then you got to go out there and block a live moving object. And so it takes the guys a little bit time to get acclimated to the speed and stuff. But, really just coming out here, learning the plays, being in the huddle, listening to Drake, seeing what Drake sees, everybody being on the same chord and just playing football and having fun. We're building an identity. We got a lot of new players. We got a lot of young players that are going to be out there playing this year, and so just getting them comfortable with the schemes and the terminology so we can go out there and play fast.
Speaking of Drake, what are your impressions of the way he's carried himself, the way he communicates with you guys? I know it's early, but
well, he's an ACC guy, so I can't complain about that. But no, his leadership. Obviously, he's been in the league going on his second year. He's seen some things on the field last year, but just getting them comfortable. Knowing that the guys in front of him that are blocking for him, they're going to do their job. They're going to communicate with him, with things that we need. And that's what this is about. Is just, not just, just learning the playbook, but learning one another, seeing, what he sees and what he expects of us out of as our quarterback and our leader, and just going out there and just capitalizing.
We'll take two more guys, two more. Surgery, was that from the play against the Patriots? And what is it about this game that makes you want to go through it at this stage in your career?
No, it was week 3, Thursday night. But just the fact that I still come out here and I still feel like I can learn. When you come in the building every day and you got the urge just to learn, and I tease Will about it all the time. I said, Will, like the things you did in college, I didn't do 12 years ago. So I'm learning from them just as much as they're learning from me. And when you come with that mindset, the window for you just as growing as a player and as a person is always open. So I still enjoy the grind. I still enjoy being out here with the guys and just learning from them and them learning from me.
Morgan, it seems as if the intensity, the tempo. It seems as if you guys kind of it's May 20th. Yeah. It seems like you guys kind of get dropped into the deep end of the pool a little bit, and there was a lot of position groups. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I don't think it's it's football, man. At the end of the day, I don't think there's a way that you can really ease into it. I say one thing, it's obviously guys been working out all in the off season, but playing football is a different type of football shape. So getting guys out there, and although we're not going hard and we're learning, obviously with a young team, we're learning how to practice the right way. Keep guys up off the ground, and then also we got a great defense out there. The defense, they got a lot of young players and they're coming, but being able to have those conversations in between plays, you'll see guys over there like Keon, KC over there, grab younger guys like Will and say, hey man, I think you should change this up, and that's what this is about, learning from your teammates. So when you go into training camp, you get into the season, you're the best polished player you can be.
Thanks, Morgan.
Yep, no problem. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
And now, great moments in history.
Am I allowed to call out other PU listeners/callers? If so, I would like to call out Todd in North Carolina for being a fraud.
Whoa.
A week or two ago, you called him out for all the background noise when he called into the show. He claimed he didn't know why there was so much noise, and he might have been doing dishes or something. I have a hard time believing this story. Why would he know, or why would he not know what he was doing when he called into the show? It seems like something you remember. Love you, Todd, just having fun. And then he calls us out for our background noise. So.
Let's go to Todd in North Carolina.
Oh.
Todd, if you called to...
Perfect.
If you did that on purpose.
Checkmate.
That was good.
Well done, my friend. No, I don't think you did it on purpose.
All right.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here on Patriots Unfiltered, 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com is the email address. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the newsletter. Patriots.com/PU newsletter is the way to do that. I'm looking for you for confirmation.
Yeah, correct. Nice job on the
It was a
Q&A
special one last week.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one last
I learned a lot about Paul.
Yeah.
Did you really? I wanted to thank everybody. I'm glad you brought that up because you guys sent in a ton of questions. And whenever you agree to do one of those, you're like, well, no one's going to ask me anything. No one cares. Like, it was totally the opposite. So I appreciate the questions. There was a lot of good ones. Yeah, I look forward to doing it again sometime soon. I had a lot of fun doing that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at me.
Was it sort of like a Reddit thing where?
Yeah.
AMA. AMA.
Yep.
Anything.
But not anything.
No.
Well, I answered everything. They didn't all get in.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Well, we have to be careful, like, to not contradict our sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I couldn't get my new car.
Sure.
As much as I tried.
Matt writes in, just listening to the beginning of the show, the part where they're discussing the entrance song. Since you mentioned Hans Zimmer and orchestral film music, I was thinking of Also Sprach Zarathustra. Remember that one?
Yes.
By Richard Strauss, which was used in the opening scene of the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. The resonating timpani could make for a great opening in the stadium. Keep up the great work. Greetings from Cologne, Germany.
Does it have to have some kind of connection to the Patriots in some way? I know it doesn't now, and it probably doesn't really need to, but if you were in a perfect world, would it? Like, I think some of the songs...
In a perfect world.
You know,
Do any of the iconic songs have something specific to do with the teams that they
Well, I was trying to do a
associated
quick
with?
Google search, Paul, and it sounds like some
what did you
teams
find,
do
Mike?
have, like Seven Nation Army, Bear Down with Chicago Bears, Miami Dolphins fight song, Fly Eagles Fly. I mean, it does sound like some teams have their own song. Minnesota Vikings fight song, When the Saints Go Marching In.
But those are songs like Bear Down Chicago Bears and Fly Eagles Fly. Those are like their theme songs.
But they play it after every touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I think
Fly
Google
Eagles
messed up
Fly
my-
it's a banger. The Dolphins song, not so much.
Don't the
Well,
Commanders
the
have
Dolphins and the
something?
Oilers song was to me the same. I think someone
That's true.
Someone copied the other one. I don't know who was
Right.
first, but it was the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Oilers.
It used to be
was the same
Houston
exact
Oilers.
song.
The Dolphins stole it from the
remember?
Oilers.
Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that just because they're a division team and we hate them
No,
more?
my memory.
Well, the Oilers have been around longer.
That's true.
No. Yeah.
Well, not anymore, but you know what I meant.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of along the lines of the San Diego Superchargers song that they used to
That
play
one,
a lot.
Allison's also great.
Like, to me, those...
The Patriots and we. Come on to that.
Those are like theme songs, like,
What
you
an
know, whatever,
oh.
marching songs, like a lot of different teams, like the Hail to the Red, well, not the Redskins anymore, but a lot of teams have those kinds of songs.
Isn't that just Hail to the Victors, though? Did they just steal that from...
No, it's Hail to the Redskins,
Hail to the Victors is Michigan, right?
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't
different.
know. It sounds similar to me.
But I'm just wondering, like, Fly Eagles
Hail
Fly.
to the Victor's Valiant's a much different song.
That's fairly recent, right?
I can't sing, but
So like, but my question is, it's a recent song, so how did like the fans adopt it so quickly?
Which song?
Fly Eagles Fly.
I don't know, but they love it.
I know they do.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Like if we tried to introduce a new song like that for the stadium to sing, no one would do it.
Right? No,
like
they
our
would think,
fans.
this is
like,
the
they
stupidest thing ever.
when I get TJ really, really annoyed, to this day, like if he's like in a really bad mood, I'll just sing "Fly Eagles Fly," and if he had a knife in his hand, he'd stab me in the eyeball. Like he was so mad that like he went to that Super Bowl. Mike, you don't know about going to the Super Bowl.
You've told me many times.
He
about
went to the Super Bowl.
He got to go too.
He went.
How did he get to go?
He went
wasn't
before
working.
you did. Look at it that way.
You're bringing family members.
But it just seems like our fan base, and it's not just the Patriots. I think it's like, well, the Red Sox, they sing "Sweet Caroline" or whatever it is, but we don't like to like just let loose.
No.
We're too laid back. Well, not laid back. We're too uptight.
I don't know. I like the Red Sox. "Dirty Water" works, but that's after they win.
I hate that.
Oh no, it's great.
I hate that song.
What?
That song is terrible.
What?
Except for shipping up to Boston, all these Boston songs are terrible.
Oh, that's a bad take. "Dirty Water's great. After they win,
it's an awful song.
But
why are you so angry?
Love that "Dirty Water."
I'm not angry. I'm just ardent.
It's iconic. And they play Tessie right afterwards.
Oh,
it's great.
You're right though. The Boston fans will not allow us to like write a song. Like we wrote a song.
We think we're too cool.
I know. But I kind of agree though. Like it'd be really hard to.
I remember
that's for Yahoo.
Write a
back
song,
in the late '90s. We had a guy named Andy Wozniak who was he was like
Tom
not
Hagen.
really the GM, but he was kind of like the money man. Like he oversaw the cap and all that.
I want no money man.
And he said to me, "We need to come up with like a slogan, like something that we, say and that we do during the game." So we came up with Blue Thunder, White Lightning. So like the Blue Thunder was the defense and the White Lightning was the offense.
Yeah.
And like it went over like a lead balloon.
It was on the media guide that year.
Yeah.
It's kind of like creating a tradition. Like you can't create a tradition. Like you can't.
you-
We're going to
right.
create a new tradition here. You're like
It just happens.
has to happen.
So, and Evan's right. I would say that Evan embodies most Red Sox fans' thoughts of "Sweet Caroline."
Yeah, "Dirty Water."
Right. No one really
I
likes
haven't heard
it.
that
Okay. But at the same time, I really respect the organic nature that it started, and now it's become this huge thing. Again, I'm not telling you that you have to like it, but that's how those things happen. Someone plays a song, and all of a sudden they start singing it.
Yeah.
But
and
like,
then
how
you
did,
play
like-
it again the next song, and all of a sudden you have a tradition. You
How
can't
did
just say
Sticks happen in Pittsburgh, right? Like I'm sure it's probably similar.
That's a good example.
I don't know how it started, but I think those things are pretty cool. Now, again, I kind of agree with Evan. "Sweet Caroline's" not the best song for something like that, but I do respect the fact that they do it and that it's caught on as much as
I
it
don't
has.
mind the song actually. It's just like they play it no matter what the score is.
Yeah.
So like to me, like what I like about one tradition with the Patriots is Josie, but like Josie,
I was just gonna say that.
Josie is only when it's a big moment or they're winning in the fourth quarter and we're celebrating.
Haven't heard it since like 21.
Right. But like, that's when that's what I like about Josie. Like "Sweet Caroline," the Red Sox can be down 10-0 in the eighth inning, and then here comes "Sweet Caroline."
See, I agree with
and
that.
It's like,
It doesn't bother me like it bothers a lot of Red Sox fans, but it does bother me when they're losing 10-0.
It doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people
It's
too.
like the
but-
wave of sing-along songs,
Yeah.
But
Like,
I think
they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Mr. Brightside is that
It's the
song
new-
now. Like
new generation.
every like college stadium does that now, and the place goes crazy.
They do
the ELO song?
No.
The Killers.
Killers,
Who am I
Mr.
thinking of?
Brightside.
Oh, I'm thinking of Mr. Sunshine.
Mr.
No.
Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue
please
Sky.
tell us
No,
why.
yeah, Mr. Brightside is like the new one, and
Blink,
like
blink.
now every state, like every a lot of football teams do Mr. Brightside now, and everybody thinks that it's their song.
Yeah.
Like they think it's their song in Buffalo, and I'm like, every stadium does Mr. Brightside. You can't just claim
that's
it.
what I like about Josie though, because that was organic, right?
Yeah.
That was the 2014
again,
like just a
it was
moment that it was
absolutely
playing, and
organic, and it was
people
'cause
just
Zoe
started
likes
singing,
it.
and it's
Yeah.
that song, right?
You know, and
So I
they
respect
play it
that.
on the Sports Hub,
Yeah.
I think on Fridays, and on Zoe's
Yep.
show,
Yeah.
and
It's his theme
and
song.
it became a thing.
Yeah.
That's how it has to happen.
Yeah.
Let's see, that one Boston fan, that's what he goes by. He says, question, why not ask Bon Jovi to make a song for the Patriots?
They
Could
already
even
did
have
that.
Evans sing a verse.
Why would you want me
Isn't
to sing
Our
a
House
verse?
kind of like...
They did that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
They asked him to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Do we like Our House
Wow,
after
wow.
the touchdown?
No.
I mean, it's not my favorite Bon Jovi song.
I like the old one, but that person's also canceled. I'm pretty sure. So
Ooh.
What was the old one?
the old one in the beginning of the dynasty. I'm not a music person. I'm not going to sing it. But yeah, that
was it
song.
called?
What are the words?
I think it's like Zombie Nation or something like that. I think it was what it's called. No, that might be the Bruins one.
No, that's super.
Yeah,
Rob Zombie.
It got canceled because the artist got canceled.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't
Not-
know what you're talking about.
Not
Was
Gary
it Gary
Glitter.
Glitter?
It wasn't Gary Glitter.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, canceled.
I was going to say, we had two different songs that got canceled.
that one was better than the.
Yeah,
no
I'm not.
offense.
I have nothing against Bon Jovi. I like a lot of Bon Jovi songs. I don't particularly like that one.
Yeah.
This Is Our House. I don't think that's a.
I'd
that's
be
not a
ready
banger.
for a
Kendall
change
Roy
out.
would not have wanted that at his
No.
birthday party. He
not
wanted nothing,
serious
nothing but
musicians.
bangers at his birthday party.
Eric says, the key to a new song is making it vaguely familiar. Fly Eagles has a classic marching band feel that goes right along with the game. That's why it was so easy to adopt. Any attempt at a new song by the Patriots needs to touch upon that familiarity so that fans will be open to it because although they may not have heard the song, they do recognize the vibe.
Yeah, the marching band songs to me are different.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's a handful of teams that have, like, the Bear Down Chicago Bears is a kind of a marching band song too. Those are different than like Renegade for Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Renegade's cool.
It is cool.
So they do that every game, no
Yeah,
matter what,
between
right?
the
They do
third
it in the
and fourth
third quarter,
quarter.
right? Yeah, after the.
I
it's
thought they
after
had
the
it,
third.
they waited for a moment.
No, third and fourth quarter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, I thought they
Going
always
into the
had to
fourth
wait a
So
moment.
they do it even if they're getting waxed, right?
I think so.
I don't think that's correct.
No.
I mean, every game I've
what
ever
don't you
been
think
to
is
in
correct?
Pittsburgh-
I thought that they play it when they need to get everybody up because they're staging a comeback
Need a little
or it's
something
close
extra.
or something
I mean,
like-
it definitely happens late in the game.
Oh, it does happen late in the game.
Every game
absolutely.
I've been to
But
Pittsburgh,
I
it
thought
happens in between
there
the
had
break
to be
and
a
the third and
reason
fourth
why
quarter.
they played it.
Potentially, I mean, that would make more sense than like Sweet Caroline
Yeah.
of just playing it even if the Steelers are down 45-0. Like,
Yeah,
it's
because
like,
if it's true, there's definitely some Steeler fans out there that are like, "This is so stupid."
yeah,
Why are we playing
100%.
this right now?
But when it's a competitive game or they're winning and those towels start going and the song starts playing, I mean, it gets it's fun in there. It's cool. It's a moment for sure.
So their fans are willing to take part in a community thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that place is.
You have to have a willing fan base.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, along those lines, Fred, not to keep going back to my '85 watching, but they kept doing the stupid wave at the old stadium. Like during the when was the last time you saw them do the wave in Gillette State? Like
I don't
nobody
like
does
the
the
wave
wave
either.
anymore,
They
right?
do it at
Like,
Fenway
they
every
do
game.
Still do it.
Every
They do it in the
game.
baseball
I don't like
game.
the wave either.
The '80s, I think, was like the high point of the wave. Everyone seemed very excited.
Like the
about
wave's another thing you can only do, in my opinion, when you're winning.
Yeah.
Like you're starting the wave at a baseball game when the Red Sox are losing. It's not the time for the wave.
Well, I mean, to tie it all together, it's funny. They start doing the wave in the old Foxborough Stadium, and Steve Grogan's like trying to run the offense. He's telling people
Yeah.
to calm down and stop doing the wave because he can't hear anything. Yeah.
Paul, what are you looking up?
I'm looking up when they play it. It says a third quarter break, but that doesn't. I need something a little bit more specific.
Well, that's
than
the break between the third and the fourth
I
quarter.
don't agree with that
during home games.
because we've been at games when they play and it's
So AI overview: the Steelers play Renegade by sticks during home games, specifically during the third quarter, as a way to energize the crowd and the defense. The songs, lyrics, and upbeat tempo are thought to inspire the players and create an electric atmosphere within the stadium. It began in 2002 during a playoff game against Cleveland, and has become a beloved Steelers tradition.
I do believe the defense needs to be on the field. I think that might be a part of
Too loud for the offense.
Yeah, that could be true. So maybe it's just that time of the game. but
Paul,
it might be a defense thing.
You're a baseball
I
Hall
can't
of Famer.
believe we don't have one Steeler fan listening.
I know. I was gonna someone to call in. But where did the
no Steelers fans are on Patriots.com radio.
Where are they all? Where did the seventh inning stretch and take me out to the ball game come from, Paul?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, that's one too. Like, when did that
Didn't
start?
like one of your relatives write that?
Probably back in the day. But that's another thing. Back in the 30s, people were like, "What are we doing? They're gonna play this stupid song every time." They're all jaded. Back in the 30s, probably not.
Bob in Fort Lauderdale, just listening to the song discussion. I have one that hasn't been used that I think would be a great choice. The introduction to Highway Star by Deep Purple. Absolutely love the show. Grew up in Mass. Blah, blah. I know that song. It's okay.
It is from your era.
I kind of feel like
that album was a great album. The Smoke on the Water album by Deep Purple. What an album!
It's a classic.
I'd like to compile all these and listen to them, the ones that I don't know, to see if there are.
Well, we should. We should have like a committee.
Yeah.
And people should send in a suggestion. We should listen. Give each one a hearing, and decide.
I'd like it. Yeah. Even for just the opening for our show.
But you gotta think of it in context. You gotta think of what are the opening notes like?
Oh yeah.
Are they catchy?
Think theatrical.
You can't wait too long for the hook.
No.
The hook has to be early.
The hook.
Yeah.
Brings you back.
That's right. Like we talked about it last week. When you hear the opening to Hotel California, that's Hotel California.
Yeah. Baby, I Love Your Way. That wow. Wow, 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 wow.
That's the Eagles, right?
No.
What, Hotel California?
Yeah.
The Eagle, right.
Yeah, I went to camp with
Frampton.
with Deacon, so flex. Glenn Fry's son.
So, OTA tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Pascal says, Evan said Arnold hasn't done anything close to Rocky, but I think Terminator is a better franchise. I'm not sure about that.
God, that's a bad
Got
take.
a lot of deep thoughts on that.
I mean, Terminator's a
the
great
entirety
franchise.
of the Rocky franchise?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to push
We're
back
still going
on that.
Creed. We got Creed going now. We're up into Creed.
I mean, Rocky's 1 through 4.
I mean, they built a statue to Rocky.
Like you can
And the
tell
people in Philly actually think it's a real
when
person.
you go to the art museum, and there's people that literally
When they
stop
say,
and run the stairs.
I've run them twice.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I did it.
That's it's like a tourist attraction.
Did with my the girl I drove down to visit on spring break. That whole that was her. We ran up.
Well, you needed to.
A bit of energy.
That's a bad take, though. You want to tell me that Arnold's a better action hero than Stallone?
Stallone's a better actor.
That to me is that's a debate that you can have, but Rocky is a real Rocky's a real movie.
Well, like I said, you ask people from Philly, who are the great athletes that came out of Philadelphia? They'll say Rocky.
Oh.
They will.
Yeah, maybe it's sarcastic.
Southpaw.
No, some of them really do think he's real.
Southpaw, South Jersey.
Hey, Buckus. I mean, you can't even get past Terminator 2. I mean, Terminator 2 and done. There's no other good Terminator movies, in my opinion.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Really? T3?
Yeah,
T3.
Which one is Judgment Day? 2?
T2.
T2. Didn't see it.
After that one, see. I think the thing people got obsessed with is that they thought that the time travel was cool. Like I just thought the future world was cool, the post-apocalyptic. But then all the sequels just got so crazy and all the time travel, and then they're traveling to different time. And that's not the cool part. The cool part is machines took over the world in the future. That's what, for me at least.
Oh, the future. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever done that before.
Machines are not taking over the world now at all. We're totally safe from all of this.
Taking over sports. Ford and Savannah, getting back to football.
What?
This has been the best post-Brady offseason the Patriots have had, and we should all be excited about it. You hear that? Get excited about it.
I would concur.
I don't know about
However,
you don't think this is the best post-Brady offseason?
Not yet.
Post-Brady? I don't know. We were pretty jacked up when they signed Cam Newton for about a minute.
But it's an off-season. You don't have to, whatever happens. This is the off-season.
I know.
On paper, 2021, they did just as much.
Yeah.
However, not to me.
I hope we have patience and take the long view when it comes to Drake May.
As you know.
I'm talking.
What makes it better?
I'm talking.
We're talking about
the point. I'm getting.
We'll save it for the end.
I hope we have patience and take the long view when it comes to Drake May. Would we be happy with the second-year numbers that Josh Allen had for Drake May? 20 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 9 rushing touchdowns, 14 fumbles with 4 fumbles lost, 58% completion percentage. Drake May is not Brady or Mac, He's an explosive playmaker. We have to be okay with him learning this year at what will be 23 years of age. Do you think we should look at winning this year as a bonus? I know we're all hungry for it, especially based on the past 2 years, but I think patience and developing the right way will pay off in the long run. Okay.
Interesting numbers.
I mean, they're going to win?
He says maybe not.
I mean, they won.
Josh Allen won with those
They won
numbers.
10 games.
Did he?
They went to the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Like if he completed under 60% of his completions, that would be a tough number.
That's why I
for
need
me.
to know if they won.
That'd be a tough number. Now the stats, the touchdown, interceptions, and all that is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
it's a lot of balls on the ground though. That's what did you say? 14 fumbles.
14
and he only
fumbles.
lost 4.
Yeah,
Is that
14
correct?
fumbles is a lot.
And I know they obviously have a lot of similarities, and I've certainly talked a lot about their similarities. But Drake May is already a more accurate thrower than Josh Allen was coming out of college.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I think Drake's more accurate than a young Allen. So
Allen has a better arm, though.
Yeah, I think Allen has a better physical skill set. I think he's bigger.
Oh, did you hear
faster,
about our friend Joe Milton wowing people in Dallas?
Oh, really?
Did you hear about this?
Oh, man.
Evan heard about it.
This is what he does. Yeah.
I mean, it was with the can, like it was with the arm.
Minicamp, and he just threw it through a
Yeah,
wall.
he threw it 80 yards, and everybody lost their minds. But yeah, I would say Drake May's more polished, more accurate quarterback now than Allen was coming out. Allen's a specimen. Like Allen's a better.
We know Evan. You talk about him a lot.
Yeah. I tend to.
Matthew writes in, for the rest of the crew, now that the 2015 NFL draft is officially 10 years ago, how would you rank that draft talent, and who are some of the better players to come from that draft, and how does it compare to other drafts? 2015, was that notable? Is that a
Can we? I mean,
special draft?
does he not have like the people?
No.
It's a very specific
We're supposed to just
draft.
remember who
Yeah,
was
we're
drafted in
supposed to just
2015.
Deuce is supposed to look it up.
Jameis Winston. It went Jameis,
Mariota, yeah.
Dante Fowler, Amari Cooper, Brandon Scherf.
I thought he meant our draft, the
Leonard
Patriots
Williams.
draft.
That was not. If my memory
So that's-
serves me correctly, it wasn't a great draft.
Well, I mean, just at the top
That was
there.
Malcolm Brown at the 32 spot.
Yeah.
So there's three in those first 5 or 6 picks you read off. There was like 3 good ones, like Amari Cooper, Brandon Scherf, and Leonard Williams were all good players. But
Yeah.
I mean, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota at the top. That's not
Yep.
good.
Jordan Richards, 64th overall.
Oh,
Not good.
Yeah.
not great.
So basically, it was a bad draft overall.
If I
Well,
remember
for the Patriots,
correctly,
it was a very bad draft.
not considered to be a great draft in hindsight. No.
Yep. God. And he says, for Evan, did you watch Star Wars, the Clone Wars cartoon as well, or just the movies?
Just the movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't do all the series.
I didn't do all the cartoons, but I did a good amount of them. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just finished The Last of Us, by the way.
Oh, yeah, how do you like
I
that
liked
one?
it. I
Yeah.
really liked it. People didn't like the last episode. But
Yeah. Watching Hacks season 4, I think.
Yeah,
It's very good.
we're
It's
up
one of my
on
favorites.
that.
I
It's
love that
good.
show. It's so funny.
It's funny.
I think it's excellent.
Started watching Sirens.
Oh, Elaine's been watching that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Henry from Maine writes in, kind of ridiculous suggestion, but here are 3 probably terrible suggestions. 1, have Steven Tyler write a song, since he also is local.
Yeah. Yep.
Shark music from Jaws, especially on a scoring drive. Ooh, you'd like that.
I mean, we can do so much better.
See, now, like, if it came out that Drake may love sharks, then organically maybe you could do something like that.
Sure.
You know? But there, like you said, there has to be some tie-in.
No, and then the word to me is organic too. It's just anytime you're like, have someone write a song, and I just start visions in my mind of like, here come the Patriots and they're gonna win. It's just so stupid, cheesy late lines. And you're like, this is so bad.
That was well written.
Right.
There's a 0% chance that Drake May has seen Jaws. Like, I'm just telling you that
All right,
right now.
We'll get him involved this
No
summer.
way.
Probably a little sarcastic, but maybe have Seth MacFarlane write something. He does a great job mocking musicians. Maybe he can figure out something.
He could write a good, funny, fake one for us, like that.
That's a good idea.
Here come the Patriots.
That was the best idea.
They're all ready to play.
Well, I mean, Shapoopy is just sitting right there.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, he's been waiting, and I know you have too. Christian LA's on the phone. What's up, Christian?
Hey, you guys. Good morning. Good morning from LA. Thank you guys for taking my call here. It is sunny but cool in LA, and we are loving the beginning of off-season stuff, off-season activities, OTAs. man, I'm really excited. A couple of things came up for me this week, and I know it's kind of a mouthful, but I know I'm a week late, but on that push debate, I know the main thing they wanted to do was stop aiding the runner or assisting him in any way. Would it still be the push if the guys that lined up in the backfield just pushed the guards on either side of the quarterback, not aiding the quarterback in any way, but still getting that surge into the defense? That's one. The second thing is I read an article this weekend on the upcoming scoring trends in the NFL this year. And while defensive scoring was going to tick up, and so was passing touchdowns were going to tick up, rushing touchdowns were said to be due to tick down this offseason. So the question I have for you guys is, with what it seems like Vrabel is building, sort of a rebuild of the Tennessee-type offense where we have a strong run game and sort of play-action passing game, do you think that in any way lends itself to us taking advantage of that trend of more passing touchdowns this season? And then lastly, my song is John Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. Every fourth quarter, if we're in the game, we start the fourth quarter with Living on a Prayer. I'll take it offline. It's so good to be alive and part of Patriots football.
All right.
Let's go Pats.
Thanks, Christian. They play Living on a Prayer a lot, right? Yeah. Nah, that's
like
weak.
it, but we're all just in the same.
Yeah,
the
we're
same
just,
seven
we're going
songs,
around in circles.
The same 7 songs.
Yeah.
That's why I probably just.
I mean,
don't
we're
change
getting
it.
a lot. There's a lot of emails coming in, but I don't know what these songs are.
I know. I gotta review them.
You know, like
I will say that song got a lot of interaction with the crowd in the dynasty years. Now, maybe you could argue that you could have played anything, and those crowds were extremely into the game and extremely confident.
Yeah.
You know, when the games in the second half generally were kind of decided because the Patriots were winning all the games, but they used to get into Living on a Prayer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they played it at
especially
Bruins
when
games.
Bon Jovi was here.
Oh yeah. They played at Bruins games at the 30-minute mark of the game, like right in the second,
a lot of teams play
second
it now.
period, halfway there, and
Yeah.
People get into it then too. So I think it's just the song.
Yeah, I'm not sure I got Christian's point about there's a trend that there will be more passing touchdowns, and will that be beneficial because Vrabel seems to be.
I guess he's trying to say that teams are building to stop the pass. So if you're good at, they're not necessarily worried about the run as much. So if you're good at running, that was sort of where I thought he was going. But that's like an old. Teams have been trying to follow that model for like.
And I don't
5
know
years.
exactly how the offense is going to shape up either. Right?
That I agree with.
Can we wait and see what kind of offense we run?
All right.
But throwing more touchdowns, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, just
more of
scoring
that.
more is good.
Yeah, but I
care
do
how.
feel like that. What Paul said, like I feel like that's the assumption is that they're just going to be the Derrick Henry Titans and they're going to be a run-first offense and everything.
I would
never
say
know.
that if that ends up being the case, I will not be a huge fan. I think you're very limited if you try to play that way.
Well, the thing about Henderson is like if he's going to be your lead back,
He's
got
not
a-
going to be the lead back.
You don't think so?
Travion Henderson?
Yeah.
No, he's going to be James White. He's going to be the third down back.
You think Ramondre's still going to be the lead back?
At least for now.
Well, I'm just saying that Henderson, he has a lot of wear on those tires, right? No? I thought he carried a lot.
No, he was in a platoon with Quinshon Judkins last year at Ohio State. They've been platooning him for a while, but
you know what?
You're thinking about someone different.
I'm thinking about Genty.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of wear.
I'm thinking about somebody else's player.
Yeah. Genty.
Week 1.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of wear on
I
his
agree with that, and I think that's why they wanted to bring Judkins in last year because sophomore and junior year
got hurt.
Henderson broke down.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest reason why I don't really see him being the lead guy. Now I think he can be more of a ball carrier, traditional ball carrier than James White was. I think he has the capability of doing that. I just would caution, and I've said this to a few people, James White was that guy in college. He had 1 million carries for 1 million yards at Wisconsin. Now, playing behind incredible offensive lines for the most part, a lot of NFL players on the offensive line at Wisconsin. But in the pros, with the Patriots, he was more of a third down back who could run. I mean, they handed the ball to him, but generally it was like passing formations, kind of, third down draw, those kinds of things. I think Henderson has the ability to maybe be like they did last year. It would be like one series it's Stevenson, the next series it was Gibson. I think Henderson might be like, this is a Henderson series here. First and 10, we're going to line up two tights and we're going to run it. And they're going to, they don't need him to be a scat back per se. I think he can run between the tackles too.
And the question though is do they become more of a spread style scheme? Like if they're more of a gun heavy offense and they're in spread, and then you're running the ball against lighter boxes with more space and like all that kind of stuff. Like he's definitely built more for that than Ramondre Stevenson to be that kind of running back. So
I agree.
If that's going to be what they are because of Drake May, they go more towards that side of things. I don't think Travion Henderson's necessarily going to be, we're going to line him up in the I formation in the backfield and he's going to run the ball on 1st and 10. But if they're an offense that's more gun run options, like that kind of stuff, like you see in, Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, like places like that, then he's probably more conducive to that just because of his speed and his burst.
But I'd be surprised if he ended up with more carries than Stevenson. I think Stevenson will still be the lead back. Unless it's an injury.
I think he could end up with more snaps.
Catches.
But maybe not more carries, right? Like, because he's going to play so much in the passing game that a lot of those years, James White was their lead snap count back, but he wasn't their leading rusher because he was
Henderson know how to pick up the blitz. Is he good?
Very good at that.
Fantastic at that.
So that'll help him.
Very good at that.
Stay out there.
Yeah. Like some people think he's one of the best blitz pickup running backs in the last couple drafts.
So his, the name is escaping now, but his coach at Ohio State said he called him the best pass protector in the country. Period, regardless of position.
Did he say how?
That's how good he was.
How did he get that good at it? I mean,
it might have been a question that a good reporter would have asked. I dropped the ball.
Well, it's a good question. I would
him.
just wonder if it's if he just had a natural kind of knack for it. He just understood kind of how to get in guys' way the right way, or if he just maybe it was a weakness and he worked at it. Maybe he got really good at it.
Really strong for his size.
I mean, just pops guys throwing his shoulder
good
into
base.
Yeah, and he's got great eyes for it too. Like stay square to guys and see different looks and things like that. I mean, you can make a highlight reel of Travion Henderson just off of his blitz pickups.
Well, he's got a great highlight reel that made the rounds on Twitter after they drafted him.
Yeah.
It was unbelievably impressive.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, I think he's gonna become the number one back pretty quickly. I really do.
I don't think that's a good thing.
I just don't. I think it depends on how you quantify that.
Yeah, he's going to be out there early.
I want his big play potential, and I think that the best way to get that is to limit his touches.
I'm not saying right away, but the vision of Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't think Jahmyr Gibbs isn't playing 75% of the snaps in Detroit. It's probably more closer to 50.
Right.
That I would have imagined that's the goal, not necessarily week one, day one, but eventually.
Yep. Chad in LA says "Back in the Saddle." You know that song?
Aerosmith.
But only if we start winning. We're talking Runout songs.
Yeah.
This isn't
That'd be like a
the Josie.
song.
This isn't replacing the Josie song. This is what gets the crowd amped up for the Runout.
Right. Organically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to be a dynasty, but now we're not. We're trying really hard. Just totally literal, exactly.
Stick with us.
We promise it'll be better than last year. We hope. Don't worry.
It's all wicked exciting.
Things are going good.
I guarantee we're going to win more than 4 games.
Guaranteed, probably. Then it's not void in the states of Massachusetts. That quick disclaimer at the end.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a long weekend.
You really are something else.
Thank you. I am available for any of your songwriting needs.
RJ in Colorado's subject line, all the small things in the Avalanche. He says, song traditions must be organic. You can't plan it. My favorite thing about going to Colorado Avalanche games, the entire crowd sings the entire time. It's legendary, but it's derived from their recent Stanley Cup run.
They must have played it as in the locker room after wins or something.
Yeah.
Love all this. Good song. Good pick.
The Bruins have a playoff warm-up song too, don't they? They change it up.
Yeah.
You might have to think back to last year.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We choked again.
Oh no!
most teams have most hockey teams when they're on a run, like a playoff run. They have Gloria with the
for
Blues.
the Blues.
Yeah.
Maybe that must have been the Avalanches, and that must have been where it came from.
Pascal has some numbers. Terminator versus Rocky.
Back. Oh.
Says, sorry guys, but box office numbers say Terminator is the better franchise.
I'm not sure why
and
we're
Rocky
judging it based
only
off
comes
of box
close
office
because
numbers.
Creed boosts the numbers at the end. Terminator has 2 out of 3 highest domestic numbers, and through the first 6 movies of each franchise, it isn't close. Internationally, Terminator blows Rocky out of the water. Rocky is a niche to a smaller market of fans like you guys.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't care about the box office.
Me neither.
numbers. Rocky
won
better.
Rocky's an award-winning film.
Yeah.
Like, this is not, in my opinion, it's not really even worth a discussion. One's a movie, and the others are just fluff. Like, you want to say Rocky 3 for the franchise is fluff too? Fine. But the original Rocky was an Oscar-worthy movie.
Yeah.
Don't be talking about Rocky 3
The same with the original Rambo, I'd say, too, kind of. I mean, maybe not quite, but First Blood. But
Like,
First
the
Blood was
Terminator, no one was, waxing poetic about. It was what it was. It was fluff.
Right, it was science fiction.
Yeah. Which is fine. There's a place for that.
No, the whole Rocky story, Stallone tried to get a writer.
Yeah.
He couldn't get one. He ended up writing it in a weekend, right?
I mean, I don't know about a weekend, but yeah. I mean, he just
No,
wrote it for
Well, I thought he
himself,
wrote it, and then they didn't want him to play himself, and he refused to sell it.
No, well,
unless he started it and he had no money and he
Smart.
banked on himself.
Yeah.
That's the story.
But I know he
always
wrote
heard.
it. Like I heard he wrote it in a weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Believe it. Got it all in. I just got to get it out there.
No, that was one of those things where it's like genius. Like
Yeah.
he never was able to recreate that. It was a one-hit thing.
Yeah, flash in the pan.
Yep. As a writer, anyway.
It's a lot of writers.
A lot of writers out there.
They got one in them.
I mean, I said my experience with TV writers is that there are like a handful of people that are very talented and everything they write is really good, but then the vast majority are people who wrote one thing or they were a staff writer on Friends when it broke and then they worked their way up. They were never making the magic happen, but they were part of it. So, but there's really only, I would say, 5-10% of the writers are really talented, like Mitch Hurwitz from Arrested Development, who was just an amazing writer. Every time you read what he wrote, you're like, this is so depth, and there's, it would take you time to even process it. But a lot of guys just one-hit wonder, And they're still like, well, he was on Will and Grace. You're like, that was 20 years ago. We're taking meetings with this guy because he was on a show. Will, good show, but wasn't like he was.
I love Hollywood Deuce.
Munchnick and Cohen.
Well, you know better, but like Seinfeld, for example, different writers kind of took the lead for different shows that had the Soup Nazi was that Spike.
One person, Spike Ferguson. Maybe it might have been. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, no. So
but then you never saw him as the lead writer again. That was his one show that he had inspiration.
Well, it's kind of like how it works. Like if we were a TV show and we're all doing a show and you're the showrunner and you say, all right, Deuce, you're going to write this episode. So we'd all kind of break it together and then I'd go off and I'd put the first draft together. All right, Paul, you're going to write this episode. We'll all kind of put the beats together. You go off and write that one, and then we each get a script fee to write that script along with our per episodic fee that we get. So, that's how you get a little more money. Or how many scripts you got involved. We got a couple. I mean, this is all network TV too. I don't even know if this is still streaming.
Back in the 80s,
changed,
I know the writers for Cheers, they got $70,000 a show.
I believe it. Yeah. Sure. That's a lot of money. That's way
How
more.
do you know that?
Yeah.
Emerson.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Lane asked me that this weekend. I'm like, oh yeah, per episode but it's now with streaming where they have 8-episode seasons. It's hard because it used to always be based on.
I'm sure they get more
20,
now.
25, and that's how streaming companies get around paying people.
That annoys me a little bit. Like everything is now 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's no.
Right.
It just, I don't know.
Nobody wants to put in a full day of work anymore.
Well, even the network.
I blame Cody.
But every show is that
25
now. Like every show is like, new season drop. It's 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Every show. It's like, what happened to the actual?
Yeah, it used to be. Wasn't it like 26 weeks?
Yeah, 2.5 Men, we
used
do
to be that
25, 26 episodes a season. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
and
huge.
yet even now, I know you guys don't watch any of that anymore, but even now, most of the shows, you get lucky if you get to 20.
Yeah.
Some of them might do 20 episodes for a season, but most of them are like half seasons.
I mean, I worked at my company for 13 years, and we put maybe like 4 shows actually on the air, and other than 2.5 Men, I think 2 got subsequent order pickups of other seasons, but we produced 100, 200 shows, pilots, scripts. I mean, probably close to 1,000 scripts, but that's how much. It's so much thrown at the wall for 2.5 men. You've got
you can't have
1,500
not everything
prospects
can
now.
be Chicago Polo. Let's face it.
That's why we're hoping. We got
You don't get the syndication checks for 2.5
Not me.
days?
You know?
What do you mean?
But every time it's on, I think about my bosses are getting. They're
Yeah.
still getting paid every time that thing airs.
Johnny in Madtown has a Felger fact.
Felger fact?
He says Terminator 2 won 4 Oscars.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably
visual
visual effects.
best
Visual
sound,
effects.
yeah.
Right.
Which they are Oscars, but
that's not what I'm talking
Rocky
about. I'm talking
won
about Best Picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about the amount of Oscars. I'm talking about Best Picture.
Yeah. Also, genres like sci-fi, horror, and comedy get shafted at the Oscars for acting or directing or Best Picture nominations.
Or like sports movies.
Your opinion isn't as bad as Evans for film, but it's damn close. Ooh, wow.
What's with the
Sports movies generally do really well at the Oscars, right?
Did Bull Durham do well?
No.
No? Did
Like, for Best Picture?
Like, did it get nominated?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, before this guy writes back to yell at me, I don't remember that being nominated.
I do agree that sometimes sci-fi, those genres, maybe not so much comedy, but like.
No, I agree with him.
Well,
on
Dune
that.
got nominated. I thought Dune was really Dune 2. Yeah.
But Dune 2 was the best movie of the year.
No.
And it didn't win.
Well, I didn't see them all, so I can't judge.
But I mean, it
Neither
was.
did you.
I didn't see all 15 of them.
You didn't
but,
see Substance. Substance.
No, but I saw the one that won. Nora or
Oh, you
Nora,
saw that
whatever it was.
I
I
saw
watched
that
it, yeah,
too.
because it won.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. Like, it's not a franchise like Dune is. Like, it's not based off a book. Like, I get it. But at the same time, I still thought Dune was better.
I did too.
Yeah.
I love Dune.
Yeah.
Just the look of it, everything.
Right.
In
all of
terms
it's
of the
great.
Felger facts, I'll just fill them in for you. The Terminator 2 won 4 Oscars. They were for Best Makeup, Best Sound, Best Sound Effects Editing, and Best Visual Effects.
Yeah.
Those are your 4 Oscars.
Right. Felger fact. Right.
So that's where the Felger fact comes from. Yes, it's true that the Terminator 2 won 4 Oscars.
I
That is
love
true.
the Terminators 1 and 2. I love them. I feel weird being on the side of Rocky,
don't have
but I don't
anything
know
bad
if
to
there's
say.
really
I
a
didn't see
debate.
them.
Like
I
they're-
can't tell you I didn't like them. I didn't see them.
I love them.
I thought they were great, but, you know, Rocky is Rocky.
Rocky is Rocky.
Rocky is iconic.
Yeah. And global, like, box office. Like, I mean, it's definitely a very American movie, too. I understand why Terminator, there's 100 of them, and they make, like, animated movies now, basically, with all the science fiction they have going on. So that's going to have much broader global appeal. But in terms of just, like, what's a better film, I think I'm Rocky. Team Rocky.
That's Deuce saying that. So.
There's 2 movies I want to see right now.
He's in the industry.
I want to see Superman.
Yeah.
That looks really good. And I want to see the Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
How many Mission Impossibles are there?
This
I've
is
just
it.
fallen
The last
out.
one.
I've fallen out.
No,
I won like 2, and there were like 7.
Well, I say this
since
is it, but somebody will replace Tom Cruise just like James Bond.
Yeah,
Does Tom Cruise running this one?
But Dead Reckoning Part 1, I think, is what that was honestly amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was like one of the best of the whole franchise. This one, I guess the reviews are not quite as good as the last one. It's like this one's a lot of tying to get it together and nostalgia and all that stuff. But
I saw the first one in like 1997 or something back then, and I haven't seen one.
Well, listen, I used to
since.
watch the series.
Yeah.
First run on TV.
they're all
Leonard Nimoy and
they're all good.
Leonard Nimoy on that?
he was on.
I never watched it.
He was on.
I remember what you're
not
talking
the first
about.
season, but he came in.
Mission Impossible.
I think they're all good.
Brett, each person gives their reason to support why or how the Patriots finish 13-4 but lose in the AFC conference game.
The AFC like the championship game.
I don't think I can do this.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. A lot of injuries to other teams.
You just stole it. That was all I had.
Well, except for maybe Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. But, I mean, put it on Drake May. Put it on Drake May. If they're going to do something magical, I don't see how it happens without Drake May doing something magical.
That's a good one, Mike. Drake May just explodes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Chad says...
But... has a subpar game in the playoffs.
right. Can't quite get it done in Kansas City.
Chat about why shows don't have longer runs, seasons.
Too expensive.
He says that more formulaic back then. They were 30 minutes long each episode of something like Game of Thrones more akin to mini movies. I get that. Well, I'm talking about the
We're
network.
talking about network.
Yeah, I'm not talking
shows.
about like Last of
sitcoms,
Us. I get
22-minute sitcoms.
I get the shows that you watch on HBO. They're like movies.
Yeah.
Those are movie budget
yeah.
TV shows. I'm just talking about the
But
regular shows.
I do
don't-
think money is a big part of it too. Like Friends. What did they all get? They all held out and got $1 million each, right? So that's 6 actors making $1 million per episode.
the top
We can't afford to do 20+ episodes every year, or or whatever the number was, 30 episodes, whatever they used to do.
That's what was so crazy to me about those shows were when you're just trying to shoot the pilot, like say you're doing the Friends pilot, like you've just hired, Courtney Cox is the big get because she's the only one of them who had done anything. But at that point, you're spending so much time negotiating over like, what's your title in year 3? Well, Matthew, this wouldn't happen, but like Matthew Perry's manager is going to get credit. What's his credit? He needs points in the back end for him to, like you spend all this time at the beginning before it's even been made in life or death arguments about what's going to happen in 3 years down the road. And then, God forbid the show is successful and then you're actually able to renegotiate and put that kind of money in people's. But there were so many instances where my bosses would have points in the back end where it's like, we really want this actor. We're going to have to give up a point for him. We're going to have to give a point for his manager, all that kind of stuff. It was just nonstop.
So when Friends came out, what had Courtney Cox done besides the Bruce Springsteen video?
I don't know. She's just like a little. I think she's like one of those people that we worked with. They're like
What's the
in the
horror movie
sitcom.
that she was
Scream?
in?
Was she in Scream?
That might have been just after. I think.
Texas Chainsaw, right? She's in one of those movies.
No, that was.
She was in Scream, but I think that was maybe.
Isn't she like she's screaming in one of these movies, right?
Yeah, she's in Scream. I know she's
Maybe
in
Sydney, right?
No, that was Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell.
But she was. But I think that was just on the heels of Friends. But she had just. I think she had some.
No,
some
I was just curious.
I think she might have been in Seinfeld, even maybe. Like she's one of those
She may
people
have been.
who
She
kicks
was in a
around.
Seinfeld.
And
She
their
absolutely was known.
then they
the
get a
maple
show.
syrup
Yeah.
episode.
She was definitely known because of that video. Like she became like like all of a sudden people knew
But
her.
that's like what you're arguing with.
But David Schwimmer was in Wonder Years. He was the boyfriend of the older sister in Wonder Years. I knew him from that. And
I don't think Kudrow or Joey.
no, Matthew Perry had been in like Growing Pains.
It was Scream.
Was that her first thing?
Scream was 1996.
Courtney Cox.
So that's after Friends
So that's
had
like
already
2
started.
years into Friends.
Yeah. The other 3 I didn't know. I didn't know anything about.
But that's what's annoying is like here you are, you're in an argument with the reps from this girl who was in a Bruce Springsteen music video, and they're trying to hold you over the barrel for an extra $10K.
That's why I was asking. It's like, is that what the thing was
Right,
for
like
her?
that's,
Like
you
she was
know, and
kind of
that's-
known because she was.
And you're like, this show we haven't even shot
In
a
a
pilot
video?
yet. Like in all likelihood,
That's
this
funny.
is going to be completely dead, but we're going to spend the next 2 weeks in a life or death argument about 3 deal points. Like, it's
And
just
Jennifer Aniston, I only knew because of her father,
I didn't know.
Well, who's her father?
John Aniston. Who
What
was
does he
in,
do?
He was in
So
Another
popular.
World.
Yeah.
Victor.
No, I don't know. No, it's Days of Our Lives for me. Thanks, though.
I'm on an island here, but I never liked Friends.
No, I didn't. I mean,
I hated all of them.
Oh,
Right there with you, buddy.
the end of Friends was almost horrifically bad, but there was a run.
David Schwimmer was such a pussy.
Well,
that was the
they
point.
they turned him into that though
Yeah.
too. It was like,
But that's the point.
Well,
of the
he-
character.
Marcel the monkey.
like
That
there
was literally what the character was.
right, but they kind of made him.
Like, so why do I don't like
they
him?
made him crazy.
You don't have to like him.
Yeah. Well, they slowly, like, it's like Kramer, right? Like, they slowly just keep turning up the wackiness of that character
Right.
and making him crazy.
Yeah. I always just like
Friends
feel
was a
bad
good
about
show.
Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
You didn't like Matthew Perry?
I love Matthew Perry.
Oh.
Then R.I.P. to Matthew Perry. And
He
you
was-
just
he
you
was
just watch
great.
the seasons of Friends. You watch
see it.
on and
Oh.
off the drugs, and it's just tough. It's just tough to.
Kelly in Salt Lake writes in, been listening to for quite a few years. Thank you. In the early years of my listening, I recall hearing something called Fredapalooza. I had an idea. Now that Fred lives on the Cape, long drive, he should throw another one, Jaws themed, and have the movies playing on a projector or TV for the whole party. I would, but people don't want to come down all the way to the Cape. You know, like it's a long drive, and then you want to drink and have fun.
Yeah.
So then you have to put them up, and I'm not doing that.
back in the day, you didn't care. You just were at for the old Fred up
Right?
there.
Yeah, who cares?
We're crashing on Fred's couch.
But I lived 10 minutes from the stadium before. Now now it's an hour away.
Cosplay Perry is just in a corner in a ball.
Wouldn't be good.
Paul saying he's never seen the Terminator movies, but thinking his opinion carries weight is hilarious.
I don't think it carries weight. I said I didn't see it.
I don't have any Felger facts like the other guy, but I know for sure Paul has no say in this conversation.
Yeah, Paul.
Didn't see the Terminator, so I can't tell you if it was good or bad.
Yeah.
That is 100% accurate.
It's pretty good.
But I can tell you that Rocky won a.
But I can
an Oscar.
I can guarantee you, if Paul saw the Terminator, he would not like it as much as he liked Rocky.
Agreed with that.
Because you don't like that genre.
I would agree with that. That's probably why I haven't seen it.
Right.
But I'm just basing it on there's one movie that won the Best Picture.
I know.
Right.
I love the Terminator.
And for a movie like that to win the Best Picture, it has to overcome a lot of biases.
It's just like the science fiction thing or the comedy thing, which the previous emailer, the Felger Fact emailer, is absolutely right.
Yeah.
Those movies, you have to have like this profound movie that's like solving all the world's problems to get nominated for Best
Did
Picture.
Jaws get Best Picture?
Yes.
Yeah. See, another one where it's kind of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Those kind of movies don't get nominated,
Like
much less
Nightmare on
win.
Elm Street didn't get it. Now, was that a better franchise than Jaws? Like box office? I'm sure it was.
Yes. Yes.
The thing is, I love Terminator. It's one of my favorite movies. But if you can tell me that at the end of Rocky, when Adrian runs up on the like, I still get emotional just thinking about it. Even going into Rocky 2 when she's like, win, Rocky, like that whole part when she's in the hospital and she wakes up and she's like, win.
You see, that's where you lose me, Rocky 2.
But that's the only part I want to bring up. That's the only part I want to bring up.
Rocky 2 was so boring because
it was until that one part where
45
she's
minutes
like,
of her in
win,
a
and then he
coma. I mean, what are we doing here?
What do you mean? Boring.
Rocky 2 was boring.
No.
Except for that part. Except for the part where Adrian wakes up and tells him to win and the music starts and Mickey goes, what are we waiting for? Like, take us. I'm in. Let's
It's also much... Rocky 1's a much better movie, but Rocky 2 has a much better boxing ending. Like, the fighting is much better.
When have you ever seen a fight where both guys hit each other and they both go down?
Right.
And one of them gets up at 9 to win.
But it's iconic. Right. What do you mean?
I've never seen a fight
I'm
like
not saying
that.
it's realistic. I'm saying it was better. It was a better scene. That's what I'm saying.
I've just never seen a boxing fight where guys are just punch to the face, back punch to the face.
Well,
like
the
for
best
9
is
rounds,
like
just
when
punching each other in the face.
So for that one, I want to show you. I want to show you Rocky 3. For that one, I want to show you Rocky 3. Mr. T literally comes out like this.
Right.
His hands are down.
He's
in
not
his waist.
punching yet.
Paul, it's a movie. It's not supposed to be like.
I think
super
the fight
realistic.
in the first one was pretty good. Like when he hits him with like the one shot in the first round of the first one, and then they flash to the bar and they're all going crazy. You're like, come on, that was awesome.
I mean, it's all awesome.
It's all awesome. That's
No,
well put.
Like I said, for a
All
movie
awesome.
like that to win, it had to be iconic.
Sure.
It had to be. You know, like Star Wars. I don't think that got nominated for Best Picture, did it? The original Star Wars, number 4.
Oh yeah, it's not open.
It should have gotten all the Terminator awards there.
Yeah, so I don't think that got. But box office wise, it was a huge hit.
Huge change.
You know, it's the same thing with books. Like I remember in high school, I had this one teacher who said that Gone with the Wind, the novel, was a piece of shit.
Whoa.
You know,
can't say
like
that.
it's bad literature, but everybody read it. You know, Star Wars didn't get nominated, but you know.
So Star Wars was nominated for 11 Oscars and won 6, but
not Best Picture.
Art Direction,
Right.
Costume Design, Editing, Visual Effects, Sound, and perhaps most famously, Original Score.
John Williams.
By John Williams.
Yeah.
But it was snubbed for on this date.
I mean, the acting was terrible when you think about it.
the writing was
I just brought that up even before the show. I watched
But
like
it
the
was
first
nominated.
45
it was
minutes of A
nominated
New
for Best
Hope.
Picture?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go to Tashi.
Annie Hall won.
And he's like
Annie Hall.
That's right.
That was a good movie.
They're having like dinner or something, and Luke just like storms off like a child. And I'm like, this is a
He's
grown
little
man.
whiny.
Like, what?
Yeah, he's a little whiny.
Well, he was going through things. Yeah.
Didn't know his
Love
place
the
in the
movie.
universe.
Mean it, but
What would you think about Disney because they own the franchise now,
Giving up
doing a remake of 4, 5, 6.
Oh God, no.
Oh God,
No?
no, horrible.
No?
Oh God, they've already ruined it enough.
Oh, okay, all right.
No.
The episode, whatever they just did, that 9 thing, that still makes me mad. I can't even go back.
I saw that in theaters, like the last of the Ray.
Yeah. Do you remember anything from it?
I was appalled. Like I was ready to
so bad
get up and scream in the movie theater.
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise
where
of
they
Skywalker.
It was absolutely atrocious.
It was like they had a fan vote. They let them put the script together.
It was so bad.
And we want Somehow Palpatine's come back. Yeah, but you can't do that. You can't say you've had 2 movies to set this up. You can't in the middle of the start of the 3rd movie just be like, guess what? The bad guy from 3 movies ago, he's back. You could have set it up.
So bad.
Sound like Capella.
All right.
He just comes back. He's alive.
Andor was good.
Andor was good. I'm cruising.
All right, that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Tomorrow, we've got OTAs, so we'll be out there covering that, and we'll have reaction to that and Catch 22 tomorrow at 2.
Yes.
2 o'clock, and then we'll be back at our regular time at noon on Thursday.
Look forward to it.
We will talk to you then. Thanks for listening.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.